Hello listeners, and welcome to episode 223 of the Nigerian Football Weekly Podcast. Me, host Olu. Okay, yes, we are back again for another bumper episode to review all the football that's taken place over the weekend. Yes, we've stuck to our 8 p.m. UK time, so shout out to everyone that's joined the chat so far. I appreciate you guys always for the support. You know, we don't take these things for granted. So as you can see in today's schedule, I'm gonna be going through the usuals. We'll start out with standout players of the week and then quickly touch on Starboy of the week. And then we'll quickly touch on Rivers United exiting the CAF Champions League before we do the weekend player reviews, ones to watch. And then we do the community call-in and discussion. Shout out to Jackson. I'm very well, thank you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Shout out to you and everybody joining. Just to make sure I don't record for 3 hours like the last time, I'll make sure I go through the slate of today's show first, and then we'll leave enough time for the community to call in and go through comments and discuss as usual. First things first, housekeeping. I want to say a big thank you to everybody for all the support. We do not take it for granted. We are now at 11,279 subscribers. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to always watch, to like, to share, to subscribe, and for just supporting the channel. Today, I thought I'll, relive the golden times in Napoli by wearing my Osimhen shirts. This is the one after they won the Scudetto. But yeah, shout out to everybody. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for always joining and always making sure this is an enjoyable show. As to start with housekeeping, if you're watching this video, please like the video, please share, please subscribe. Remember to follow us on all our socials, and we have all the information on there. We're now officially on the road to 20,000 subscribers. It's you guys who make it even possible to dream of those kind of numbers. You know, everybody starts small, but, you know, very, very grateful. So thank you so much. So as I said quickly, today we're going to going through standout players of the week. We've got a few more players compared to last week, which is good news to see. And then we'll quickly touch on the Starboys of the week. The good news is this week, there's a lot of Premier League football starting tomorrow. Literally tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday is all Premier League. So, you know, us now, we don't have to worry too much about Man City getting that equalizer against Liverpool yesterday. As long as we beat Brentford on Thursday, we should be all right. And then we'll do the normal player reviews after we go through Rivers United and then the ones to watch. And then quickly we'll do the community call in. So without any further ado, and starting with the stand-up performance for this week, it was a pretty good week for Nigerian footballers, must be said. First of all, we have to start with the Turkish league. It seems to be the league that has given our players a lot of joy, you know. So starting with Paul Onuachu. Paul Onuachu has been back at Trabzonspor, back bullying the league, and just being an awesome footballer for Trabzonspor. He scored for his fourth straight game in a row in all competitions for Trabzonspor since returning from AFCON. He scored a brace for Trabzonspor on Saturday in the 3-0 win over Samsunspor. He's now the joint top goal scorer in the league with 15 goals, despite leaving for AFCON for a whole month. So that just tells you how prolific Paul Onuachu is in the Turkish Super League. I mean, like I always say with Paul Onuachu, go where you're loved. But when you watch somebody defending from the Turkish league defenders, man, you have to say that it's very, very funny. Like his first goal, great header, to be fair, like fantastic crossing. Onuachu with the header. He even took a deflection off the defender that was jostling with him for the aerial duel. And then nestled into the back of the net. So that was 1-0. Then they went 2-0 up. And I urge you guys, just watch the highlights of Trabzonspor games when you see the defenders trying to battle Onuachu. You can see he no longer has to deal with Bassis and the Premier League level defenders. So easy for him. Like his second goal, if you see the way he bullied the defender, just to have another tap-in. Go and check the amount of tap-ins Paul Onuachu has been able to score in Turkey. Honestly, like, it's incredible. But long may it continue. You know, Trabzonspor are still within a touching distance of the title. You know, they're not too far away. They're third in the league at the moment. Yes, their next game is Fenerbahce, but you can only do what's in front of you and continue winning games. When you look at the Turkish Super League at the moment, Galatasaray are still top. I know that for sure. But Trabzonspor are only 7 points behind. So they just need to keep winning and they'll see where they end up at the end of the season. So shout out to Paul Onuachu for another exceptional performance. Another person with an exceptional performance this week, as usual, was Victor James Osimhen. You know, he scored yet again for Galatasaray over the weekend in the 3-0 win over Rizespor on Sunday. He scored in each of his league games since returning from AFCON, and he now has 3 goals and 1 assist in his 3 games in the league since he returned from AFCON this year. This goal was also his 15th goal for Galatasaray in all competitions for this particular season, 2025-2026. Remember last season, he scored almost 40 goals for Galatasaray. I think he ended up with 39. So, you know, he's already set pretty high benchmarks for himself to work towards and see what he can deliver again. So it'll be interesting to see what Victor Osimhen can do going forward. This goal was very good, it must be said. You know, 9 goals in the league, 6 in the Champions League. So very, very good. When you watch the goal, is such an Osimhen goal. Like, his touch was a bit suspect, you know, trying to jostle with the defender. The ball bounced around. But that determination and that grit, or as Eric Shaw would say, that aggressivity, you know, he dribbled the goalkeeper and from the tightest of angles was able to use his left foot to poke the ball into the net. So fantastic goal by Victor Osimhen, and that was it. You know, 3-0. In fact, it's so easy for him. He didn't even really celebrate. That's to tell you how easy the Turkish league is for our superstar striker. So shout out to Victor Osimhen for having another good weekend. Of course, it's very important because they have Champions League games coming very, very soon after this week. So it's important that he gets himself fit and firing. Also, another person that we have to obviously call out is Ademola Lookman. Shout out to everybody who joined the show on Thursday. As we were doing the live show, that's when Lookman made his debut for Atletico Madrid against Real Betis in the Copa del Rey quarterfinal. They absolutely thrashed Real Betis by 5-0. And Lookman scored a trademark Lookman goal, you know, cutting in on his right foot, but then shooting straight back from where he came from into the bottom left corner to make it. I think that was the goal that made it 3-0. And then he also assisted Griezmann with a fantastic layoff to allow the elder statesman score yet again for Atletico Madrid. So that was really, really good debut. Unfortunately for Atletico Madrid, though, how can you beat a team 5-0 away in Betis? Then they come to play you at home and you lose 1-0. And to make it worse, you let Man United's Anthony score the goal. Like, this game, I have to be honest, Atletico Madrid were very unlucky. You know, Lookman had a shot go wide earlier in the game. He also had a goal disallowed slightly. VAR called it offside. Great goal with his head as well. So it was one of just those unfortunate games where, like, they even had another goal disallowed by VAR. You know, it just felt like it was destiny for them to lose the game yesterday night. So really, really unfortunate. And you have to say that it pretty much puts paid to any hopes Atletico Madrid have of potentially still challenging for the La Liga title. Real Madrid and Barcelona are a bit too far ahead. But if you're Atletico Madrid, you still have the Copa del Rey semi-finals. You want to consolidate 3rd spot, and you also want to make sure you give it a great go in the Champions League, which will be resuming for them next week, Tuesday. So all in all, still a very good week for Lookman, and you have to say that the Atleti fans have taken him like a dog to water, you know, and you'll see all the Lookman props everywhere. It's like they can't believe they found another superstar to plaster all over their social media. So that's what Lookman has become for Atleti, and long may it continue. Also, in terms of standout performance for the week, even though his team lost, we have to give Tolu Arokodare credit. He scored his 2nd ever Premier League goal. Remember, his first goal was against Arsenal last December, where we managed to score a last-minute goal through a Wolves' own goal. And he's had to wait pretty much almost at least 7 weeks to score his 2nd goal in the Premier League. He has 1 or 2 goals in the League Cup here or there, but you have to say it's been a real struggle. And when you're a striker not scoring, it leaves a bit of a bitter taste, it must be said. Chelsea still absolutely walloped Wolverhampton, 3-1. But at least Arokodare scored. You know, it was a goal from a corner kick, scramble in the goal mouth area, and then he was able to just stab the ball home to make it 3-1. So consolation goal for him. But at least he scored against Arsenal and Chelsea. So for the rest of his life, at least he can say that. It's also the 2nd time he scored against Chelsea. He also scored against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup when they lost 4-3 to them in October. So shout out to Arokodare. And honestly, Wolves have nothing to play for. Their season is done. So it's a case of him just facing his front and trying to make sure that he can give as good of an account of himself between now and the end of the season. Because, you know, he's either going to be a championship player or he's going to find another home for himself. But Arokodare, he strikes me as kind of guy that likes the England lifestyle, man. Like, I'm sure he can't believe his life that as a Premier League player right now. After moving up and down from France to Belgium to Germany, all over the place. So we'll see how the rest of his season continues. Also, big shout out to Philippe Otele. Philippe Otele made his debut for Hamburger over the weekend. They played fellow promoted side Heidenheim away, and they got away with a 2-0 win, which is very, very, very impressive for Hamburg. You know, they're making a very, very good fist of their first season back in the Bundesliga in 8 or 9 years. And you have to say that this was a very, very crucial win. Philippe Otele actually got an assist on his debut as well on Saturday. So shout out to Philippe Otele. However, it must be said that it's one of those assists where, if we're being brutally honest, it's more of an assist. He's very lucky to get the assist because the goal scorer did all the work. Otele basically played the ball forward to the striker. I've forgotten his name, Nick Fongard or something like that. And this guy did all the work, dribbled 2 or 3 players and banged the shot with his left foot straight to the net. But Otele passed the ball to him last. So technically, it was Otele's assist, and you want to get fit and firing and up and running in terms of goal contributions as soon as possible. So long may continue, and very, very good to see at the start of his loan move. Also, in terms of standout performance this week, as we mentioned during the live stream, Maduka Okoye kept a clean sheet and made 3 saves for Udinese in the 1-0 win over Roma last week, Monday, as they won 1-0. That was a big, big result because Roma were going for the league as well, even though their results in the last few weeks has meant that they're unlikely to challenge AC Milan or Napoli, because basically Inter are slightly far ahead, I think 4 points ahead. Oh, AC Milan and Napoli look like the 2 teams that could challenge potentially. You know, even though Napoli are a disgrace in Europe, when it comes to Italian Serie A, they keep finding ways to win games. So Napoli beat Genoa 3-2 again with a last-minute Højlund penalty on Saturday. So they're just surviving. But Roma have dropped down slightly, but Udinese is still a very impressive result for Udinese to beat Roma, is the point I'm trying to make. However, this weekend, it did not go well for them because they lost away to Lecce. So that's the thing with these mid-table sides. You beat Roma at home, then you go away to play relegation threats in Lecce, and you lose 2-1. So it's like, come on, guys. Some consistency would be nice. It's the least we're asking from you guys. But anyway, Maduka still had a good week. And then finally, in terms of standout performance for the week, Yurasor, the Nigerian winger who's been at Genk for 3 seasons now. He was Tolu Arokodare's teammate last season as they got close to winning the title, but it wasn't meant to be. Yurasor came off the bench in the 64th minute to play the final 26 minutes of the game for Genk in their weekend game yesterday against Anderlecht at home, and they won by 2-0. Yurasor actually scored a goal, so really, really fantastic to see for him, and Log may continue. He's a bit of an inconsistent performer, and he's always injured, so that also does not help in terms of, you know, him making the next step or progressing his career. But the fact that he scored this week is something that we have to call out, and I want to give him a good shout out. And also, in the spirit of Nigeria Football Weekly, I want to also call out a player. It's not every time a player only scores or assists that we must call them out. This weekend, I know it looks like, yes, Fulham lost at home to Everton 2-1. But let me tell you guys, if you watch the way Samuel Chukwueze played in that first half, this guy is built for the Premier League. And when I say built for the Premier League, I mean built for the Premier League. Chukwueze was an absolute nuisance against Everton in the first half. He created quite a few chances, got close himself in terms of shot making. Like, he was, even though they lost the game, he was the highest rated player for Fulham. That's how good he was. And he only played 75 minutes. That's to tell you how good his performance was. Like, honestly, he was sensational. And we have to give him his props for his performance. I'm trying to see if I can find the exact stats. I know he created at least one big chance. You know, like, even in terms of his forward play, he had 1 or 2 efforts that almost got into the net. You know, he created quite a few chances for Smith Rowe and other players. Like, he was just jogging. He was feeling himself, man. Like, you have to say, Chukwueze, I'm telling you, like, guys, forget all these things that are seen from AFCON and him missing that chance. This guy is taking to Prem like a dog to water. There's 2 types of Nigerian players that move to London. The ones that come to London and they're overwhelmed by the lifestyle because you're making Premier League money and you can't believe you're in London and you can afford and do whatever you like and it affects the way you perform. Wink, wink, Emmanuel Dennis. Or you have players who, they've been all over the world. They've played in Villarreal. They've had to play in places where they didn't really know anybody and they had to adapt to the culture. That's one of the things I love about Chukwueze, that he speaks Spanish. So now coming to London, where you're closer to your roots, there's a lot of Nigerians around. He can order Nigerian food anywhere he wants. He can go to a Redeemed Church if he likes. He must be feeling so settled being around London. I'm sure he lives slightly outside London like most footballers do. But I must say, this Chukwueze remontada and the way he's really blossoming in his Fulham career is something very, 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 very exciting to see. Thank you, Charles. Oh, shout out to you, Charles, man. Like Charles said, he even hit the bar. Thanks, I haven't forgot. I was watching Match of the Day and I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, they lost the game and like there were at least 10 clips of Chukwueze. I was like, man, this guy was balling out of control. I'm telling you, man. So even though his team lost and he didn't get a goal or assist, when you watch with your eyes, you have to say that he was absolutely sensational. And I want to give him big props for his performance. Yeah, I agree about what Charles is saying about Marco Silva, because it's quite interesting and the way he's playing Cuenca at the moment. Although Cuenca's playing well, but I still think Bassi's their best defender and one of the best defenders in Fulham. So it's a bit interesting that he's not currently starting games, which is one of the consequences of AFCON, as we'll get to it with certain other players as well. But just in terms of standout players of the week, I think it is very, very important and critical that we call out Samuel Chukwueze's exceptional performance for Fulham on Saturday. So that's it in terms of the standout performers of the week. Of course, right now we've got the likes of Terry Murphy's about to play in the big game for Porto against Sporting Lisbon. Let me quickly check if he's actually starting or if Sanusi is starting, and then we'll go straight into Starboy of the week. So Porto at the moment, top of table clash. Okay, it's not even kicked off. It will start in just under 30 minutes. So Terry Murphy is on the bench, and Zedu Sanusi is nowhere to be found. Samagewa is starting as we probably expected from Farioli, but interesting to see at the moment. Shout out to everybody. Yeah, shout out to Charles. Shout out to your Bassi. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. I appreciate you. I salute you greatly as well. Shout out to you, Taiwo. Thanks for mentioning the new guy, Mubarak Suleiman. We will get to him as well. I think there's been quite a lot of good performances in terms of Slavia Prague and Suleiman scoring his first goal in the league. So thank you for that call out, and we'll get to that. So moving on to Starboy of the week. Starboy of the week this week is a bit more beefy, but I think bronze medal this week, we're going to give it to two people to share. Victor Osimhen for scoring yet again in the Turkish league in a 3-0 win for Galatasaray. Even he was still a menace in the game, even though he only scored one. I know how crazy that sounds. He only scored one. He still did his job. But you know how Osimhen is now. Even if you watch the first two goals that Galatasaray scored, Osimhen still was just being a nuisance and allowed his teammates to then, have the space to then score the goals. So Victor Osimhen, yet again, another goal. Your 15th in all competitions for Galatasaray in this season. 9 goals in the league, 6 in the Champions League. He's doing what he needs to do. Yes, he's 6 goals behind Paul Onuachu for the top goal scoring chart, but we'll still get there and see what he can do as and when the time comes. Also, bronze medal this week, we'll also share with Tolu Arokodare. It's not every day you score a goal in the Premier League. So even though his team lost to Chelsea, the fact that he got his second Premier League goal in his career, playing for probably the worst ever Premier League side, because Wolves, they're edging closer to breaking the world record that nobody wants to break in the Premier League. But we must encourage Arokodare and thank him for his performances. So he will share the bronze medal with Victor Osimhen this week. Silver medal this week, I think we have no choice but to give it to Ademola Lookman. Look, we're going to act like the game yesterday did not happen, even though he still played all right and they lost. But when you talk about signing for a big club, it's not every day a Nigerian player signs for one of the so-called top 10 or top 12 clubs in the world. And you have to say Atletico Madrid will be in that category for sure. When last were we this excited about a Nigerian player making a step up to a big Champions League club? I'm trying to rack my brain for the last time it even happened. Even when Osimhen signed for Napoli, they were not in the Champions League, for example. We haven't had a player sign for Bayern or Dortmund in a minute. We haven't had a Nigerian player sign for any of the top Serie A clubs while they're in the Champions League. When Lookman got to Atalanta, they were in and out of the Champions League. And, he rose with them to get back in the Champions League. Which other league am I not thinking about? Real Madrid and Barcelona, I don't think we've even had a Nigerian player play for them since year 2000. I know we had Okunowo and one of the Babangidas play for Barcelona in the 90s. But it's been a minute, and we didn't see Osimhen sign for PSG. So you get my point. It's not every day you see a Nigerian player sign for a superstar club. So this was a big move for Lookman, for Nigeria, for Africa. Yes, we still have commemorates his excellent displays for Atalanta. It's like I'm fine on Atalanta. Atletico Madrid want to update it. But when you make your debut in that kind of pressure, and on your debut, you get a goal and an assist in a 5-0 thrashing of Real Betis, who are one of the best sides in La Liga, by the way, at least top 8, and you put in such an exceptional performance. Yes, you miss a few chances, but eye test, you cleared it 100%. You know, we have to give you credit. We have to give you kudos. As I said on Thursday, the way he made the pressure go away and allow people to just relax, you know, was something really amazing to see. And you can see him plastered all over their social media. So, Lookman, you get the silver medal this week for your performances for Atletico Madrid, particularly on the Thursday. Gold medal this week, we have to give it to the one-eyed man king, the one-eyed man that is king in the land of the blind. Paul Onuachu, yet again. This man is just making a mockery of the Turkish league, it has to be said. You know, I always tell you, once it's not the top 5 league, give Onuachu, he will batter them. Belgian league, he's already destroyed them, and now he's made his mission to go for that top goal scorer golden boot in Turkey and to try to get Trabzonspor to the Champions League as much as possible. So as they still try and stay into the title race, it's very, very essential when your star players bagging in goals. So to win 3-0 and have your talisman score a goal, I even saw him wearing the captain's armband at one point in this game, or was it the Turkish Cup game? That's how influential he is for Trabzonspor already. You know, first goal, a header, literally won the aerial duel and through sheer willpower put the ball into the net. And even his second goal, you know, the way he bullied the defender to create space to make sure it's in the right position at the right time to tap in the ball home to make it 3-0. You have to say Paul Onuachu has found the right place at the right time for his career to continue blossoming, and long may it continue. So Paul Onuachu, you, my friend, are the star boy of the week. Big, big well done to you. Hey, Charles, shout out to you, my brother. I want to say a big, big thank you for the super sticker. May God bless you. May your cup never run dry. God bless you for this, and may all you desire over this week and this month. You know, Valentine's is coming, Seth. If you have a sweetie, may whatever blessing you are looking for come your way in Jesus' name. Thank you so much for the super sticker, and you're blessed. Obasi, we'll get into it. I think when you look at Osimhen, he's missed a few games to start the season for Galatasaray initially. And to be fair, he was doing a lot of work in the Champions League, which was good to see. But I have no doubt Osimhen will still go on a run and bag enough goals, because Galatasaray scored the most goals in the Turkish league by far. So that'll be interesting to see. Shout out to Charles for mentioning Mubarak as well. Suleiman and David Moses at Slavia Prague. Yes, we're going to get into that. Tyrell mentions Victor Osimhen's body language in Galatasaray lately fading off. I think, look, you're still human now. At the end of the day, if you're playing for Galatasaray and you see your dog playing for Atletico, being spoken about in Champions League conversations, La Liga, all the social media handles are posting you. Whether you like it or not, Atletico Madrid reach is far, far bigger than Galatasaray. Don't be gassed because Turkish people are super passionate and they'll always be flooding your comments. Yes, we respect how passionate Turkish fans are. In fact, for that reason, I hope their team somehow makes it into the World Cup. I know they have to do the playoffs in March, but I won't be surprised if Osimhen is just thinking to himself, the money's nice, you know, I want to achieve enough dreams at Galatasaray, but let's see what the summer says. But one thing I will say, I want to give him credit. He loves Galatasaray. He's giving them that respect. And let's see, he has 15 goals. So if this is what he's getting with his body language off, boy, oh boy, imagine when the Champions League ties come through next week, which we'll, of course, preview in next week, Monday's show. So looking forward to that, and let's see how it goes. Exactly, Charles. This is Arokodare's work against Chelsea. Maybe he has a few friends in Nigeria who are Chelsea fans, so maybe he just wanted to show them something, even with the losses. That's been interesting. Exactly. Thanks for that, Jackson Jazz. It was Amuni K. One of the people I was thinking about as well. Shout out to you, Jackson, as well. I appreciate all the support. Also for being a member. As I said, from next week, Wednesday, we're going to start our members-only live streams. I've also revamped the tier, so it's only one tier at the moment, $3.99. You know, live streams, live chats. Literally, our website's going live soon. So we're going to have you guys also be able to iterate some of the content that we do and maybe see some of the behind the scenes, you know, members only live polls, members only shout outs. Everything is coming. So I appreciate you in particular and everyone who's a member. And I appreciate the entire community and everybody that subscribes or watches the show. So shout out to everybody. Oh, wow. They said the verdict is on Saturday. I've been scheduling Gemini and AI updates daily to see what happens. I'll be honest, guys, for your peace of mind, don't get too excited. That's what I'll say. I still don't think we're going to get this petition work for us, but we'll see what happens if we somehow magically sneak in. Boy, oh boy, get me lit. Hey, if we can go to America, that changes a lot of things, you know. So we'll see what happens there. And finally, on Osimhen, Man U Arsenal try to get him. It will make them stronger. I totally agree, especially Man United. I can't really see Arsenal going for him just because Arteta and all his non-negotiables and duels and all of that. But I love to see Osimhen at Arsenal, to be honest. Like, that would be amazing. You know, he's still an exceptional footballer. Hence why I wanted to even wear this in his honor. You know, I think the Osimhen was to show somewhere. Yeah, there we go. So shout out to VO9. Okay. To be honest, Obasi, like, I'm even of the mindset that they should keep it for DR Congo. They beat us on the pitch fair and square. Yes, if we played them 2 months later, we know we would have beaten them. But the game is the game. Nigeria, we had a group with South Africa, Benin, Lesotho, Zimbabwe. We're drawing against Lesotho. We're drawing against Zimbabwe. We only have ourselves to blame, guys. So honestly, all this mago to the back door. If it happens, we'll be there. But to be honest, let Congo enjoy the fruits of their labor. They beat Cameroon and Nigeria. Yes, one was 1-0 last minute goal against Cameroon, and the other one was penalties. But we could have won it. Nobody even saved 2 penalties. And then we had Shemi Ajayi and Calvin Bassey taking penalties while our attackers were ducking the responsibility like they did against Morocco. So honestly, guys, I know from a shameless perspective we will like it, but in my mind, we don't deserve to be there. South Africa were in our group. Look how poor South Africa were at AFCON. We couldn't even beat them once, home or away. Yes, we didn't lose to them, but how can you draw 5 times? Come on. Like, you only have yourselves to blame. You draw with South Africa twice. You draw with Zimbabwe twice. You draw against Lesotho. Like, come on. Lesotho. Come on. So anyway, let's move on from that one and we'll see what going on. Taiwo, I keep hearing this thing about Juventus. Maybe the coffers will replenish in the summer. But good luck to them affording Osimhen's wages. But we'll deal with that when the time comes anyway. And that is that on Starboy of the Week. Now, because of it's not every day that you have a Nigerian team having to perform in the CAF Champions League. So I think it is very important that we just highlight some of the performances whenever we have a team. Rivers United were the first Nigerian side to make it to the Champions League group stage in CAF in at least 8 seasons. The last time was the season Liverpool won the Champions League in 2019. So we're talking 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026. In 8 seasons, Rivers United finally made it through the CAF Champions League pre-group phase round and got to the group stage. However, I'm sad to report that they've officially crashed out of the Champions League as at yesterday. They played 5 games so far, and it's not been good at all. They lost 4 games, they drew 1 game, and they've been absolutely shambolic. But we have to say that it's just a reflection of our league. As I always tell people, the Nigerian league in Africa is ranked 12th. How can you imagine if the Super Eagles of Nigeria ranked 12th in Africa? We will literally be trembling with fear and trepidation. Like, how could that happen? But you cannot cheat or substitute good governance or good planning. And the truth of the matter is the MPFL is nowhere near certain leagues in Africa. In fact, forget the Egyptian, Moroccan, South African league. Even the Tanzanian league, for example, you know, Congolese league, we're nowhere near those ones. Mali league, Stade Malien are in this same CAF Champions League and doing well. But I just wanted to bring that update because I know some people always want to know how our teams are performing. They lost on Sunday to the CAF champions, Pyramids FC of Egypt. They got thrashed 4-1 at home. I watched the highlights of this game. And the worst part is Rivers United took the lead. Scored a fantastic free kick. The captain scored. And then defensively, they just lost their heads and they were absolutely shocking. And you should see go and watch the highlights. See the way Pyramids just picked them off. Like, it's too easy. But can you blame them? All the best talents in Nigeria leave from the academies anyway before they end up in the MPFL. And we all know that anybody playing the MPFL, their dream is to leave the MPFL. So how can you have a sustainable ecosystem that could bring about good performances? And we're only seeing the chicken come home to roost. Shout out to Rivers United for even making it to the CAF Champions League. We have to say that that's a monumental achievement. But unfortunately, they've just not been able to do more than they can. In fact, yesterday, their 1 goal was only their 2nd goal in their 5 games so far. And they've conceded 10 goals in 5 games, and they've officially bowed out. In fact, they've been one of the worst teams in all the 4 groups so far. You know, there's only 1 game left to play. You know, they lost 3-0 to Pyramids away, lost 2-1 to RS Berkane at home, 0-0 draw with Power Dynamos away. Even Power Dynamos that are 3rd in the group. Rivers United then lost to them in Uyo 1-0. And then somehow now lost 4-1 to Pyramids FC. So At home, it's been a shambolic performance, and their last game is this Saturday away against RSB Berkane of Morocco. So let's be honest that RS Berkane are on 7 points. They need a draw to qualify for the knockout stages. So let's just say Rivers United are going to play for pride, and hopefully they will do themselves justice. But all in all, I just wanted to call it out and mention that it's just a direct reflection of the league, in my opinion, but good to see that they at least made it there and at least they tried their best. But remember the days in 2003 and 2004 when Enyimba were winning the CAF Champions League? I watched it with my eyes in Yama, in Lagos. We have to say that they were a long way from that. But hopefully one day we'll get back to that place again. But unfortunately, that's just not the case right now. And Rivers United have officially crashed out. So let's see what happens in terms of Rivers United exit and what they do going forward. Hey, let me just go through some comments before we get to the weekend player reviews. What have we seen? Exactly, Jackson. We don't deserve that verdict, so we should forget that one, I beg. Charles said, I heard the CAF secretary is fighting so hard, telling Gusau why should he report them. I'm not sure I understand. What, the CAF secretary is trying to fight Nigeria's corner, or he's trying... Oh, the CAF secretary, that guy that is Congolese, Abi. I'm not sure. Obasi, thank you about the under 20 women. Sorry, that slipped my mind today. I do know that they played a match over the weekend in... Is it Ikene or Abeokuta? And they're preparing for the under 20 World Cup. Forgive me on that one. I know they beat Senegal 1-0 in the World Cup qualifier. So good to see. But to be honest with you, I forgot to double check on what's next for them. But I could see that we meet them again in Dakar on Saturday. So we take that 1-0 lead and we go against Dakar this Saturday. And then whoever wins that goes to the final round of qualification. So we'll make sure we include that in next week's update. Shout out to you for that. Exactly, Jackson. Rivers United, it just highlights how poor our league is. Before we used to have foreign players play for Enyimba. Yeah, I remember there was one guy, Jotex Frimpong, like 2001 from Ghana. He was playing for Enyimba. I remember just being interested in his name. His name used to be very interesting to me. Charles says, Olu, no, I would disagree with you. And as much as I don't like the NFF and they're too incompetent, I don't want them going to the World Cup because of those as our men. But the law is the law, not only eligibility. Look, don't get me wrong, Charles. Look, if Nigeria make it, nobody will be more excited than me. Can you imagine what that'll mean for the channel? I'm not even trying to be emotional. I'm just trying to say that I know for a fact that FIFA does not apply the same citizenship laws to the same level of strictness that some countries do. DR Congo are not the first country to say, oh, you must not have another dual national passport if you must, So I'm trying my best not to talk too much about it, but let's see what happens. And if Nigeria are there, oh my God, get me late and we'll talk about it. But I don't think we should be spreading too much time talking about something that's pretty much just hearsay and hope, until we see that one happen. So that's just it for me. Let's see what happens. If they did break the rules, of course, we'll see what happens. I do know that they had a few players that were what am I looking for? Their nationality change was approved just before the Cameroon game or just before the Nigeria game. I think there were 3 or 4 players. So maybe there'll be something with documents or them trying to speed up the process. So let's see what happens with that, But it's not that I don't want to talk about it. I want us to go. Who does not? Bro, nobody loves... I'm sure I'm in the top 0.1 percentile of human beings that love the World Cup, or 99.9 percentile. There's no World Cup I haven't watched. When I was 10 years old, I watched the documentary about every World Cup. Like, I know who won every World Cup. I know who won it. I know what the final was. I know who was the Golden Boot winner. Like, trust me, when it comes to the World Cup, I love the World Cup more than a lot of people. When I lived in Australia at the 2014 World Cup, I used to sleep during the day just to watch all the World Cup games through the night. So trust me, nobody wants Nigeria in the World Cup more than me or some of us as well. So don't get me wrong. It's just there's no point setting yourself up for heartbreak just in case it doesn't happen. But if it happens, we move on and we take it and we get going. So we'll see what happens. Obasi, yeah, thanks for the update and reminder on the Under 20 World Cup. We'll make sure we do that. Exactly, Jackson, you raised a good point about our league. How good are our local coaches? It was good to see a club the other day confirmed that one of their players had completed his UEFA B license. So those are the kind of things we need to do. But all these rich men that they come to promise the footballers $500,000 if they win AFCON, all these things. If these people were serious about developments in our football, tell me why we cannot have billionaires owning some of these our clubs, or deciding that they're going to take charge of like the development of coaches or development of training pitches, or just focus on a particular state and do the work. That's what I want to see next. Not all this, all of a sudden Super Eagles and semi-final of a tournament. Hey, we want to flex that we are big boys and give them money. Let's see different things that will come. So we'll see what happens on that one and that particular case. Charles, share the Mobike petition here so we can know and we can sign it. Shout out to Mobike, man. That guy has done a lot of important work for the country. James Francis says Nigeria has a case about the petition. Well said, but nice to manage our expectations. Well said. I'm not saying we don't have a case, because I've read up and I've tried my best. And Smith Lai was the one that told me initially about remember when they were going to deduct points to determine the 4 best second place teams to qualify for the playoff? We initially thought Nigeria will not make it. But Smith Lai has also been talking about this thing. So that's what gives me slight confidence. And when I was in Morocco, to be honest, a few of the NFF people were even saying it. So I don't want to stand there and act like it's not something that's ongoing. But if the chicken comes on to roost in our favor, we'll go on. We'll move forward, because that changes our entire plans for the summer. But if not, we also move on, because we support our national team, both through thick and thin. So that's all I was just trying to say about that particular situation. So thanks, everybody, for engaging and for your comments on that section. Okay, now to get into the big meaty part of the Monday reviews. So the weekend review, I'm sure all the Nigerians in the chat that love the Premier League and non-Nigerians, I'm sure you all know about this weekend in the Premier League. So it's been a very entertaining one, and we're looking forward to how the midweek is going to go. So starting with the Nigerian boys, of course, I already spoke about Samuel Chukwueze's exceptional performance for Fulham on Saturday. Unfortunately, yes, Fulham lost the game 2-1 to Everton. Everton with the smash and grab, pretty good performance from Everton, it must be said as well. But I must say that Fulham were very, very unlucky. They missed so many chances. The good news is Alex Iwobi played 90 minutes as expected. Guys, do you see how great Alex Iwobi is? Do you see him talking to that midfield with Sanderberg? And then when he needs to play left wing, he can play left wing as well. When he needs to play right wing, he can play right wing as well. This is just an exceptional footballer, and I love the fact that he's continued his vlog series. So let's see. My only real gripe with Fulham at the moment, even though they're 10th, is the fact that Bassi has lost his place. This is someone that was the best defender at AFCON, in my opinion. Is easily the best defender in Africa at this moment. Maybe one of the Senegalese defenders could argue, at least center backs, And this is a player who, if we're even being honest, he's better than all the Fulham center backs. Yes, respect to Joachim Anderson, cultured defender. Even Cuenca has been playing all right, but Bassi's still that guy. So it's just a shame that he's lost his place at the moment because of Cuenca playing pretty well. But to be honest, I can't see it continue much longer, unless Marco Silva is just trying to make a point about some certain reasons or something. So let's see when Bassi will play next. Chukwueze, as we already spoke about, 75 minutes was excellent. So long may that continue. In fact, I need Fulham to do me a favor on Wednesday, even though it's very, very unlikely, because their next game is on Wednesday at the Etihad Stadium. Obviously, we'll get into Liverpool and Man City, but we know that if we're going to see the wobbly Man City we've seen so far in the first 25 games, then I have to hope that Fulham can somehow get me a draw, But if we see the evidence from Guardiola from the past 7 seasons, apart from last season, then we know what's coming from Man City, especially the fact that they only just secured their 3rd ever win since 1953 at Anfield. What a game. I mean, talk about smash and grab. But they secured the win. So I'm hoping that Fulham, please come and help your Arsenal boys. It won't be. Arsenal, come on. Help us get a draw or something, or smash and grab a win. Chukwueze, it's time to unleash that left foot. I'm begging you. Bassi, come and play Haaland again, please, if they let you start the game. So I'm hoping that they could do Arsenal a favor on Wednesday in that game. And then this weekend coming is going to be FA Cup action. So total, everyone's playing the FA Cup. And we'll see the Fulham boys play away against Stoke City on Sunday, 3 p.m. Nigeria time. So the good news is, whatever happens between this midweek and the weekend, Bassi will play some games. Iwobi and Chukwueze will definitely play some games. But ultimately, I still think Fulham will continue to be the shining light for Nigerian players in the Premier League. At this point in time, they're only 5 points behind Liverpool. So Europe is still very, very possible. And I saw Iwobi's interview with SuperSport where he mentioned the World Cup thing as well. And also the fact that they want to push into Europe. I think Fulham have the capabilities, to be honest. But there has to be a bit of luck for their season going forward. So let's see how the Fulham boys continue. Also, moving on to our line on Nottingham Forest. I mean, squeaky bum time. Nottingham Forest, last year we thought they could even make the Champions League before they decapitated in the last few games and made the Conference League initially. Then their petty owner went to go and talk about Crystal Palace multi-ownership structure. And Nottingham Forest are now in the Europa League. But then the irony of life is now Nottingham Forest are stuck in a relegation battle. They're 17th in the Premier League and they got thrashed by Leeds United on Friday night by 3-1. And when I say thrashed, I mean thrashed. This game was 3-0. Like, Leeds absolutely battered them. Calvert-Lewin, this England World Cup remontada is looking more possible than not, you know. But Leeds were absolutely excellent. Ola Aina played 90 minutes, but it wasn't his best game or his team. To be fair, Nottingham Forest just look a bit shaky. It's always a sad thing when the Sean Dyche effect is happening too early. You want the Sean Dyche effect to peak in the last 10 games. If they've already won a few games recently, because in their last 5 games, they've won 2. But then when you watch the manner at which they lost to Leeds United, who are literally their relegation rivals, that's where you have an issue and you worry for Nottingham Forest slightly. Especially because West Ham have won 3 of their last 4 games and West Ham won yet again over the weekend. So it's squeaky bum time for Nottingham Forest. And I really think when the Europa League resumes, they're really going to struggle with the relegation battle and also trying to enjoy the highs of doing well in Europe and trying to play a Europa League tournament. I think it's their first time in Europe in a long time, if not the first time in this millennium. Yes, we know Nottingham Forest have 2 Champions Leagues. When you're an Arsenal fan, they always remind you of these things, you know. But Nottingham Forest have to figure something out quickly, it must be said. Next up for them, though, they have the best potential match they could play. They get to play Wolverhampton on Wednesday night, 8:30 p.m. Nigeria time. Guys, that's what they call tonic for the soul. If Nottingham Forest cannot win that game, then them too. In fact, they should sack Sean Dyche on the spot and say bye-bye because you have to beat Wolverhampton at home. That's the least you could do. And that's exactly what they have to face. They're already out of the FA Cup, so they have no games this weekend. So just focus on the game on Wednesday, beat Wolverhampton, and try to claw your way out by 3 points away from West Ham, especially because West Ham don't exactly have it easy. They host Man United at London Stadium this week. So let's see what Nottingham Forest boys can do. But Tara Oni was on new sub yet again, and it looks like that is going to remain pretty much the norm for him going forward. So we shall see, you know. Tolu Arokodare, on the other hand, who's going to be Nottingham Forest next opponent on Wednesday. We already spoke about his goal in Wolves 3-1 loss to Chelsea on Saturday. Good goal mouth scramble, you know, good striking instincts to poke the ball past Sanchez in goal. And although Sanchez is my goalkeeper, so I wasn't happy losing that clean sheet in my FPL. But you know what? It is what it is. We keep it moving. We're happy for Arokodare. And on to the next one. Let's see if they could even be competitive against Nottingham Forest away on Wednesday. Arokodare should start alongside Adam Armstrong. Adam Armstrong, they signed for Southampton. We know him, championship merchant. You know, like I said on Thursday, those players that are too good for the championship but not good enough for the Prem. He is named number 1 on that list right now, I'm telling you. You know, so let's see how they get on when they play Nottingham Forest on Wednesday. The good news for Wolves, though, is that they have the respite of the FA Cup. They are still in the FA Cup, so at least they have a tournament that they can give them good vibes and make them forget about their woeful performances in the Premier League. And to make it even easier, they get to play Grimsby Town away. Sunday, 2:30 p.m. Nigeria time. So they really should be winning that game. And then finally, in terms of Nigerians in the Premier League, we saw Christian Uche on the bench for Crystal Palace yet again. So like we've spoken about already, he's not exactly Glasner's cup of tea. And it's so sad because I've told you guys, this guy is an exceptional football player. I promise you guys, it's not just essay. I've never been paid by Christian Uche. He's never asked me for anything apart from where we DM sometimes. But I promise you, this guy, I know what I saw in Getafe last year, and it just makes me sad at how things are going for him at the moment with Crystal Palace. Although the good news is Palace did beat Brighton in the M25 derby 1-0 on Sunday, courtesy of Ismail Assar. But of course, what did Oloke do? He put Ismail Assar on his bench in FPL. So just my luck, you know. But we keep it moving. Next up for Crystal Palace, they've got a very, very good game against Burnley at home on Wednesday. Burnley and Scott Parker look like certainties for relegation already. This is already Scott Parker's third bite at managing in the Premier League, and he's failed each time. And Burnley look as good as gone as well, to be honest. So let's see what happens, and if Krisantuche could at least get some minutes in that game. On just to round up on what some people have said about this particular game. Exactly. Jackson spoke about it will be starting for Wenger in the CM position and also mentioning Forrest's injury situation. The thing with Forrest's injury situation is they signed so many players in the summer that they did not keep any continuity from last season. I mean, look, we know Chris Wood has fallen off a cliff, but do you see how many strikers they signed? They signed Kalimundo. They've already loaned him out. They've signed Igor Jesus. Igor Jesus is a bit hit and miss. I've never seen a striker that cannot finish as well. A lot of his goals, the goalkeeper parries it or it goes to the goalkeeper's legs. He's not the best finisher. You know, even when you look at the wingers, how much they bid for Amari Hutchinson, he's not that great. Dan Doe is not that great. Hudson Odoi is falling off a cliff. So when you just look at the performances between last season and this season, I'm not sure we can just use injuries as the excuse. You know, now they've got Ortega starting. I'm guessing Sells is injured, but, you know, I think Nottingham Forest, I think it's calmer, if I'm being honest, before they did to Palace. So we'll see what happens with that one. So in terms of the Premier League games that did not include Nigerian players, what are the results we saw? My United fans, I know you guys are smiling. I'm very, very happy right now. You beat Tottenham 2-0 as we expected. Brian Mbuemo continues to duppy sides, scored yet again. Bruno Fernandes, thank you for the goal because I needed it for my FPL after captaining him. So Man United continued their fit and firing performances. That's 4 wins on the bounce now under Michael Carrick or Michael Carrique, as Culture Cams would say. And they're looking pretty good. They even have a positive goal difference, plus 10. When last did Man United have a goal difference of plus 10, guys? So really good performance there to start the weekend for United. In terms of other games, like I said, we saw West Ham beat Burnley 2-0. Sorrentino Somerville looks fantastic, scored for his 4th or 5th game in a row. And we also saw Tati Castellanos, who moved from Lazio to West Ham, score his first Premier League goal with a fantastic header. And that was that. Arsenal, routine victory over Sunderland. Very, very good season. Zubi Mendy, when did you start scoring 6 goals in a season? I mean, long may it continue. I'm not complaining. But my word, what a player. Yes, we could do with another PMP central midfielder. This summer, I want Arsenal to go and sign one of them French under 21 central midfielders. You guys know what I'm talking about. Those ones with PMP and technique for days that can run. Yeah, that's what I need. Swap out Nogard, bring in some strong midfielder for me with good technique. Luciana Gomez, I'm looking at you at Sevilla and the likes, you know. So we'll see where that takes us. But Gyökeres backing on the goals, scored 2 goals. He's now the player who scored the most goals in 2026 in the Premier League as at this point. So all of you that were clowning us now for Gyökeres, he might just be the one to fire us over the line. You never know. We'll see how these things go. So long may that continue. And then we saw Bournemouth draw 1-1 against Aston Villa. Morgan Rogers with a very, very good goal in this game. And Bournemouth did well to get the equalizer. And then Brentford, my word. Guys, Brentford, level on points with Liverpool. They were tipped for relegation at the start of the season after Keith Andrews was appointed following Thomas Frank moving to Tottenham. They sold Johan Wissa to Newcastle, sold Brian Mbuemo to Man United, and everyone thought they were going to struggle. But my word, Brentford, when you talk about striker succession planning, when you even go back to Ollie Watkins in the Championship, to Ivan Toney in the Championship and the Prem, then they moved on to Wissa, Mbuemo, and then now they've got Thiago. Thiago has literally scored 17 Premier League goals. Think about all the Brazilian forwards that have played in the Premier League. Not one has ever scored 17 goals in a single Premier League season. I don't care if 8 are penalties. You have to put the ball in the net. This guy is performing incredibly well. And what a fantastic penalty taker he is. And then when you combine that with Kevin Schade, who knows what he's doing, Lewis Potter, you know, they have options everywhere. Look at Henderson's remontada for Brentford in the midfield. It's insane. Like, Brentford are playing so well. In fact, they've got 2 wins on the bounce now. And what's even worrying me is Arsenal, we play Brentford on Thursday. And this is usually a game we end up winning 2-0 routine. But I'll be lying if I said I'm not slightly worried. I mean, I don't want to be a hypocrite. But Brentford, what a result. Back-to-back wins after going to Villa Park and having 10 men and still beating Villa, courtesy of a great goal by Dango Atara. Did you see Dango Atara over the weekend? Do you see his cross for the first goal that Brentford scored? What fantastic left foot cross, left winger. Ping! Straight to the head of the attacker to put the ball in the net. And then that Dango Atara winning goal where he smashed the ball so hard that it went to the goalkeeper's legs. And even though he did his best to try to save it and it was straight through him, the power was too much. I told you guys, Dango Atara, I'm watching this guy since I was in Lorient with Terra Murphy and co. Terra Murphy and Zolefi, Ama Lorient and Sassuolo. This guy is a jogador, I'm telling you. Don't be surprised if he makes a big move to the top 6 side next summer. Maybe not this 2026, but 2027. But Brentford, wow, what a performance, beating Newcastle 3-2 away in St. James's Park as well. And you guys know, I'm a big Newcastle United hater. You see the fans booing Eddie Howe. Long may it continue. Saudi look like they're not even interested in the project anymore because where's the new stadium? Where their signings? Even when they get signings, then Eddie Howe will now be complaining about PSR. But you spent how much of the Queen's finest sterling on Jacob Ramsey to play rubbish, on Elanga to play rubbish. Voltemada, he's looking basic right now. Apart from Malik Thiaw, it looks like they've wasted all their funds. Then they'll now come and cry about PSR. Is it our fault that you wasted your money and you signed bums? I find the whole Newcastle PSR complaints the most annoying in football, I'm telling you. And long may they continue suffering, I'm telling you. Let them continue to suffer. Because last year they were trying to act like they're big boys with us big boys. They try to make some rivalry with Arsenal. It's like, who are you? You have one trophy in 60 years. Like, relax. We like the North. We like Georgies, but relax. So let's even see if they can be Carabag in the Champions League. Then when the Champions League gets harder and they're trying to make sure that they can move off from 12th place and mid-table, we will then see the struggles continue. Even if we saw them figures things out, it's still going to be a very, 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 very interesting season for Newcastle, I'm telling you. And we will be there. What to Pep Guardiola, we will be there. We must watch their downfall. And then, of course, the big one yesterday, how can we forget? Liverpool, you had one job. I asked you for one job. You talk about Anfield, how special it is. Oh, Anfield under the lights, nighttime, Sunday, you will never walk alone. One job. Since you guys are so into each other's asses, City Pool. Oh, we're rivals. Oh, we love each other. We both dominated the Prem for the past 8 years, even though the other team won 75% of the titles and we won 25%. Ooh, we love Man City. Ooh, Liverpool. Oh, great exhibition for the Prem. And then you waste Szoboszlai's goal. Look at that fantastic goal. I was thinking to myself, okay, Szoboszlai, you're going to score a goal against Arsenal or Anfield. Then you give one against Man City from a free kick spot. And then, okay, we can both take the 1-0 losses and happy days. But, guys, Bernardo Silva used to be one of my favorite footballers on the planet. And I'm not going to lie to you, yesterday, it's as if when Bernardo Silva left his house, his wife whispered in his ear, Bernardo, I think you need to remind these people who you are. You need to remind them that you are Bernardo Silva. First of his name. Treble winner. Literally, Bernardo Silva should have won Premier League Player of the Year that year that De Bruyne was injured for almost the whole season. And they still gave him PFA Player of the Year because Premier League footballers are too lazy to actually watch football and vote accordingly. Bernardo Silva is a supreme jogador. I'm telling you. And look at that goal he scored. Checky cross. All of a sudden, Haaland just battles. Bernardo Silva, right place, right time. Slide the ball straight into the net. And then Alisson, you're always a picture of composure and being calm. What happened to my Brazilian church brother? Why would you concede such a pen in stoppage time? I was just watching Liverpool like, you guys are the champions, you know. Like, Liverpool have forgotten that they're the champions. Like, they're literally 17 points behind Arsenal. It's one of the worst title defenses alongside that Chelsea one. After, was it? In fact, Chelsea both times, after the Fabregas and Mourinho year, and then after the Conte year. But my word, what a disastrous title defense. Obviously, may so rest in peace. We have to always remember the Jota factor, and we wish Liverpool well. But I just wanted one job from Liverpool, and they couldn't do it. And as if that was not enough, what a movie. What a movie. It was like watching a cinema film. They even should have made it 3-1. Yes, we know the letter of the law rightfully disallowed the goal, and it was right. And to be honest, as an Arsenal fan, it's good because we don't want City getting an additional +1 and a goal difference. Man United have lost the league on goal difference before. We know these things. They're very important whether we like it or not. So I'm glad it was rightfully disallowed. But a part of me, the football purist in me, is like, just blow the whistle, end the game 3-1, and then we take it there. But anyway, Man City got a fantastic result. Only the third win at Anfield since the 50s. It's the first time they've won at Anfield, literally since the COVID year with no fans. And before that time, you have to go all the way back to 2003 when Nicolas Anelka was playing for Man City and Sean Gota was playing for Man City and Peter Schmeichel was a goal for Man City. That's how long ago it was to remember the last time Man City won a match at Anfield. So thank you very much, Liverpool. Yeah, well done, oh. But don't worry, Arsenal, we got this. We keep it moving. So where does that leave the table ahead of the midweek games? Arsenal, top of the league, 56 points after 25 games, 17 wins, 5 draws, 3 losses, plus that's 2 goal difference. So we have a healthy plus 5 goal difference lead over Man City. They are 6 points behind us after their win yesterday at Anfield. And Aston Villa, after drawing, are now a further 3 points behind from Man City. And it looks like their title bid is faltering. In fact, Man United are only just 3 points behind Aston Villa and have a superior goal difference. So there's even a world where Man United could leapfrog Aston Villa very soon. Chelsea are 5th, 1 point behind Man United, and then Liverpool are now 4 points behind Chelsea and look like they have a fight on their hands to make sure that they're in the top 5 to ensure that they qualify directly for the Champions League, unless they, of course, win it, which Liverpool are still capable of doing that, even with how stop-start their season has been. But really, really good season so far. Shout out to the mid-table dons, Brentford, Everton, Sunderland, Fulham, 7th to 10th, and Bournemouth. They're putting up a great fight. You know, for them to only be Brentford are level on points with Liverpool. And we already know that 6th place this season is likely going to get Europa League. That'll be a monumental achievement for any of those clubs to make it. Brentford, Everton, Sunderland, Fulham, Bournemouth. So let's see what happens. So I want to really call out the fact that the Premier League has been very competitive this season, apart from Burnley and Wolves. I mean, when you have a West Ham team that found a way to win 3 out of their last 4 games in the Prem, you have to say that we're having a pretty good Prem season. It's just a shame that Wolves and Burnley are stinking the place out. So that's where we are at the moment, you know. And then in terms of the game week 26 fixtures, guys, if you play FPL, remember, go and do your team. There is Premier League football starting tomorrow. Make sure you go do your FPL team. Very important. Also, all 38 people watching live now, I hope you have liked the video, please. You know, we're very, very grateful for all the support. It means the world to us. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate you guys. Any super chats, we'll be eternally grateful. You know, you guys mean a lot to us in this channel, and this community is everything. So just like the video, subscribe if it's your first time watching, if you're enjoying the content, and we'll get into it. But like I said, tomorrow we've got a big game at the Tottenham Stadium. Tottenham hosts Newcastle United, 8:30 p.m. Nigeria time. We actually have 4 games on Tuesday tomorrow, which is quite exciting. And I think Tottenham-Newcastle should be a very exciting game, considering how both teams are currently struggling. And we know both of them still have to play in the Champions League, and they both still have ambitions of trying to make the Champions League. Tottenham looks like if they don't win the champs, they're not going to make it, which is good to see. I've never seen a big club that we're always talking about their concerts and the commercial side of their team more than anything they do business-wise. You know, they're not fit for the stadium and training facility they have. But Newcastle, as I just told you now, I'm always here for their downfall. So long may it continue. Chelsea will host Leeds United at Stamford Bridge. So that should be a very, very tasty game, especially with Leeds United's current form. We know that Liam Rosnier is yet to lose a game. He's yet to lose or draw a game unless it was against Arsenal in the League Cup semi-finals, where he lost both games. So let's see if that record can continue. Of course, Palmer scored a hat-trick against Wolves, so let's see if they could find their form and continue the good performances. Everton hosts Bournemouth at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. I think this will be a tasty game as well for the neutrals. It will be fantastic as well. So let's see how that goes. And then finally, at 9:15 p.m. in Nigeria, we will see West Ham host Manchester United, and Michael Carrick's Tricky Reds go for their 5th straight win in the Premier League, and maybe that Man United fan will finally cut his hair. Remember that guy that was going viral for his afro? That was very interesting. But those are the Tuesday games in the Premier League. And then on Wednesday, we'll see Nottingham Forest host Wolverhampton at the City Ground, 8:30 p.m. Nigeria time. We'll see Aston Villa host Brighton at Villa Park, 8:30 p.m. Nigeria time too. And then Crystal Palace hosts Burnley at Sellers Park, 8:30 p.m. time. And Man City also hosts Fulham at the Etihad, 8:30 Nigeria time. We'll also see Sunderland host Liverpool at the Stadium of Light. I think this will be a very, very tasty game. And honestly, I'm so excited to watch this game. So, because Liverpool, if they don't take time, they could really find themselves outside the Champions League places, because it's going to be a struggle for them to win the Champions League anyway. So if they don't start getting wins on the board, it's going to be a struggle, especially with how they've been performing this 2026. And we all know how good Sunderland are at home. I think Granit Xhaka should be back for that game, even though he missed the Arsenal game. Once Xhaka missed that game, I knew we were going to win it anyway. And then on Thursday, there's one standalone game, 9 p.m., where by God's grace, the soon-to-be champions Arsenal will go to the G-Tech Community Stadium to play Brentford and their high-flying team at the moment. So those are the games for us to watch in terms of the Premier League, and that is the Premier League review for game week 25. So let me quickly go through some comments, then we'll go through the rest of the leagues and take some more comments. Shout out to everybody for interacting. Forgive me for my stop-start nature. I just want to find the best way to find the balance between the show and the comments. Exact LV, shout out to LV, man. Thanks for being on here. He said, I forgot Saudi or Newcastle. Yes, so I can never forget. I can't forget how I felt the day when they confirmed that takeover was completed. I was like, we have another team to worry about. But I love the fact that this is the first big team to be bought over by billionaires, that you could tell they're still a stepping stone club. When Man City and Chelsea got bought by billionaires, there was no PSR. So you didn't see people saying, oh, I'm looking at Chelsea as a stepping stone or Man City as a stepping stone, Bar Tevez. But Newcastle, the way Isaac wrote them like little bitches here over the summer. And have you guys seen Sandro Tonali's agents already beginning to put the feelers out that, oh, he's committed to Newcastle, we'll see how things go, but he really wants to be playing Champions League. You can tell Tonali's already prepared himself to do a Magic Johnson in the summer. I'm not going to be there. So long may continue. They should leave Bruno Guimaraes to be doing mostly best in loyalty. He can stay there. It's okay. Yeah, but I think long may that continue with Newcastle. Jackson, shout out to you for this comment. I've enjoyed your football knowledge. You need to pick your brain. Shout out to you for that comment, man. That means a lot, man. But honestly, I love football so much. I'll just be watching and keeping things in my brain. Exactly. Newcastle are the one to be big boys. Da Vinci, shout out Da Vinci, another one of our members. I appreciate you and your long comments. Keep them coming as well, my bro. Thanks for joining the show, and I hope you're having a good time enjoying it. Exactly. Newcastle's rival is Sunderland. That's like Arsenal saying their biggest rival is Crystal Palace. Don't mind them. Thank you. They need to calm down. I saw a question about AFCON. At the moment, Morocco are still hosting it. There's been no confirmation that it's going to South Africa. That's all fake news. That's been denied. The tournament's going to go ahead in Morocco. I've looked at all the official sources. I've tried to find things that could indicate that will not be the case, but I'm yet to see anything that suggests otherwise. So forget the rumors on social media. That's the one thing I don't like about the football social media world in Nigeria. There's too much fake news. Same way you see news though, oh, 10 players have changed their allegiance. It's like you could tell some websites just cook up stories for engagement. Like, where's the balance between like authentic reporting versus, oh, I need traffic to my site so that, oh, I could get as much traffic as possible to make sure that, oh, I could pay the bills. There needs to be journalistic integrity. There's always so much fake news going around, and it's really annoying to see. So that's all fake news, by the way. Elias, shout out to you, my brother. Hey, so glad you're here. I hope you're enjoying the show. Feel free to start from the beginning as well if you want to see it as well. Charles mentions the fact that clubs in Nigeria need to build in early high-performance soccer training facilities. Exactly, like Remo Stars have done. At least start from somewhere. I want to even interview the Remo Stars CEO one day. I want to talk to the privately owned clubs and understand the setup in Nigeria better. So let's see what happens with that. RP, shout out to RP for being on the show. He said Arsenal will still bottle it. We shall see. Either way, it's better than challenging for top four. So I'll take the good with the bad. So long may it continue. We take it all. Shout out to LV, man. Appreciate you being on the show. Da Vinci also has a comment saying, man, the kind of gymnastics Liverpool accountants will have to do if they don't qualify for the Champions League to balance the books with that money spent. Man, that is such a great comment. In fact, I'm looking forward to that, bro. I am looking forward to that. Because what happened to Liverpool? They just got too big. They got greedy. Liverpool never just splashed the cash for no reason. But then they got excited. They already had Ekitike, but they didn't think Ekitike would be this good. They could have just fleeced Isak. I was wondering once they got Ekitike, like, what were they doing? Now they have a 125 million problem on their hands. And good luck balancing the books. We'll see what happens in the summer. In fact, now that you've mentioned that point, Da Vinci, thank you. And my twin brother's a Liverpool fan. I'm going to start praying for their downfall. Let them finish out the top 5, man. Let's see it. Because, Liverpool fans, they like to talk like they don't remember the pre-Klopp era. All this Liverpool chat about like, oh, we're the biggest club in England. It's like, nah, that's Man United. Respect yourselves. Before Klopp came back, we all knew Liverpool as top 4 regulars. Yes, past glory. They occasionally win one Champions League, one UEFA Cup in 2001. They pick a few FA Cups, one in 2006. I don't think they had any until Klopp came. Maybe one League Cup from 2001. Liverpool used to be so fake that they celebrated a treble where they won the FA Cup, the UEFA Cup, and the League Cup. They didn't win the Champions League or the Premier League, and they're celebrating treble. But the way Klopp changed those guys' lives, I think they forgot where they used to be. So let's see if they're not careful. At least they can say they've got 2 Premier League titles in the past 30 years. So I like that. And they can say 2 Premier League titles in 6 seasons. So fair play to them. But man, Liverpool have to be careful because they're not that big that they could be wasting 125 mil. Verts and Ekitike are now coming good. But I'm really looking forward to what the accountancy is going to look like when things come as well. I see a comment from Ademola Lookman says, can we call into your show? Absolutely. We're going to have the community call-in section. Let me just finish the weekend player reviews and the ones to watch. I'll even paste the link to join now, but I would just encourage everybody to give it 10, 15 minutes. Let me just finish the show structure, and then everybody could call in and talk about any of the today's talking points or anything you want to talk about. So looking forward to that. RP says Liverpool should have invested in their backline. Well said. And now they're booing Maguire like it was his fault Liverpool didn't sign him. Let me tell you, that whole Liverpool best in support gimmick, it's a little shaky, When you look at the way somebody else talk about Mo Salah, let me not say too much more than that, but let's just keep it that way. Exactly. Thanks for that, Charles. Kunle Shonami. I have his name on a list of people I wanted to interview. Yeah, because I watched the incredible interview he did about what could help Nigeria actually grow. And that's when I learned about how many of our clubs are owned by state governors and how long the decision-making process takes and how none of them are for profit. So there's no incentive to actually build an ecosystem that works. And then you have a lot of academies that their whole business model is to sell their players directly to Europe, like the Simon Bain Academy, Beyond Limits. What's that one in Edo? FC Ebedi. That's where the likes of Onyeka and I think Onuachu also came from there, or Zimofi, So quite interesting. There's a lot of things for us to figure out and understand in terms of our ecosystem within Nigerian football. So let's see. And then finally, before I continue, Jackson says Slot might lose his job if they don't qualify for Europe. I agree. He's definitely beginning to feel the effects of the Klopp shadow. Last year he got the win and won the league, but I still think he'll be ridiculous to sack a manager who's won you the Premier League title for only your second time since 1990. That's in 36 years, But I think the Dutch side of Slot's going to come out. He's not the most personable Dutch man. So he's losing a bit of like brownie points in terms of just being likable. And my word, have you heard Slot's excuse whenever they lose? It is so funny. Do you see him trying to say that Mo Salah should have had a penalty yesterday? He was saying that, well, if you say it's a clear goal scored opportunity the other way, you give so much like a red card, that it should have been a clear goal scoring opportunity for Salah. Yeah, Salah would have scored, but Diaz was right there, Slot. Like, make a better argument, bro. Like, he reminds me of Arteta and Arteta's first 3 years. Do you remember when Arteta would just come online after the game and just speak absolute nonsense? Like, Arsenal will play rubbish. Arteta will be like, oh, very proud of the boys. That time, I used to hate Arteta. He used to spin my head so much. So, Arsenal fans, enjoy this ride. Do not let the ups make you think look, we've not competed for 4 title races in a row since the Wenger 1998 to 2004, 5 days old. Enjoy this ride. I'm telling you guys, do not let trolls let you lose your joy. I know for a fact that I'd rather watch my team win majority of our games in Premier League. In fact, when we lose and draw, it's such a rare occasion these days. Do not let them gaslight you into enjoying the time of finishing 4th. On those 2 seasons, we finished 8th. Mind you, a lot of these people trolling you, we've seen their clubs do far worse than 8th. We've seen their clubs finish 14th, 16th, 12th. They all know themselves. If they're not named Man City or Liverpool, they've all been there. So do not let them gaslight you. I'm telling you guys, man. So let's see. Exactly, Jackson. Sporting Lagos. That's another club I wanted to visit when next time I go to Lagos, I want to visit Sporting Lagos as well. Oh, shout out to him. He owns Beyond Limit as well. Now it makes sense. Yeah, I know Akisomiro came from there. I even know Parubo just scored a hat trick over the weekend in his club that is on loan. So long may that continue. And I've started tracking their daily guy as well. Charles, I like your ball knowledge. You know stuff. To be honest, all of you here have great ball knowledge. That's why even a niche podcast about Nigerian football and talk about players and things you enjoy. So I appreciate all of you guys and for all the knowledge. Okay, player review. We finished with the Premier League, the main one. Championship, I'm going to try and breeze through the rest, except when I'm talking about someone that's scored or highlighted. Championship, Franco Eka's first game, he did not play. He was on the bench and serves commentary right for benching a whole Super Eagle player in the championship. They drew the game 0-0 at home against Oxford United, which is terrible, which means they could now drop to second place if Sheffield United win tonight. And speaking of Sheffield United, are they currently winning? Let's actually see, because it will serve. Yes, Middlesbrough are winning 2-0. Very, very good for you, Frank Lampard. How can you sign a whole Super Eagle and put him on the bench in the championship? What kind of disrespect is that? You know? So, anyway, serves them right. Now they're second because Middlesbrough are up 2-0 against Sheffield United. The funniest thing, and this is why we love football, Franco Eka gets to make his debut this time next week, Monday, 9 p.m. Coventry, who are now second, will be hosting Middlesbrough, who are now first. Top of the table clash. Obviously, Michael Carrick was at Middlesbrough. He's left, but they're still playing well. And let's see how that game goes. I'm really excited to see what Onyeka can do. The only reason why I even like this Onyeka move is I want him to leave there as soon as possible. Coventry look like they should be odds on for promotion. So all of this should end sooner rather than later. So let's see how that goes. Brightside Samuel, on the other hand, finally played some minutes for Birmingham City. Off the bench yet again, he played the final 28 minutes. But this time, Birmingham beat Leicester City by 2-1. So really good performance from Birmingham. They're now 10th in the league. There's also some championship games this week. So Birmingham play West Brom at home tomorrow, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Nigeria time. And then they play in the FA Cup at home against Leeds United at St. Andrews in Birmingham in the FA Cup on Sunday, 1 p.m. Speaking of Leicester, who lost to Birmingham, Joe Aribo completed his move to Leicester City on deadline day, and he went straight in the starting lineup for Leicester City. Leicester City is a very, very tough time for them. Even though Joe Aribo played the match, they lost 2-1 to Birmingham, as we just mentioned. But even more concerning, they got deducted 6 points by the EFL last week, Wednesday or Thursday. And that is because of their breaches while they were in the Premier League. What that Leicester tried to avoid and say they didn't deserve it, the truth is they knew it was coming and they deserve some kind of deductions for just being financially stupid, you know? So now, all of a sudden, you have a situation where Leicester are literally just above the relegation zone. They're now 21st. Imagine 10 years ago, they won the Premier League. They've won the FA Cup. They've won the Community Shield. They've played in the Champions League. Even Ndidi played Champions League in his first season at Leicester. And now they may end up in League One. That's crazy. But hopefully things will get better for them. They play Southampton away on Tuesday, tomorrow, 8:45 p.m. Nigeria time. And then they play Southampton yet again on Saturday at home in the FA Cup, 4 p.m. So hopefully they could get some joy against Jaribo's old side. In fact, Jaribo, just in terms of his motivation, he should want to do very well against Southampton. Southampton pretty much put paid to his club career and international career. I mean, he was absolutely terrible for Southampton. Barely even played, you know. And this is a player that was scoring goals in the Europa League final literally in 2023, less than 3 years ago, you know. So hopefully things will bounce back for Aribo again. And who knows, maybe he may even play in Premier League one day again. And then finally, Ryan Alebioshu also played 28 minutes for Blackburn in their 1-0 win over Sheffield Wednesday on Wednesday. Of course, we know Sheffield Wednesday are already automatically going down. They have been deducted like minus 30 points. They have one of the worst ownership situations in the whole football pyramid. A lot of their players have been old salaries. I can't even imagine their whole motivations to playing games, you know, so it's a real struggle right now. But after that, Blackburn, he then played 90 minutes as Blackburn lost 2-0 to Norwich on Saturday. So next up for Alebioshu, he plays QPR away on Saturday. The problem for Blackburn is they're in the relegation zone. Alebioshu is like their best player. And when your right back is your best player, it's not a good sign, you know. But the good news is whatever happens, we know Alebioshu will be out of there. There's no way he can go and play Ligue 1. He's not who's this player I'm thinking about? He's not unambitious like Gabriel Osho, who played in the Premier League, went to Ligue 1, and then moved from Ligue 1 in France straight to the third tier in England to move from Auxerre to Cardiff. I don't understand who was advising him or what he was thinking there. But I think Alebiosu will not end up in League One. But at least he's back in the starting lineup and Lookman's good performances continue. In Serie A, wait, before I get Serie A, few comments on Championship. Jackson says Championship is a very hard league. Absolutely. Probably the hardest. And they play 46 games. It's an absolute struggle. This is a good one from RP. Everyone can be held accountable for financial misconduct, but not Man City with 115 charges. That's hilarious. I think the chicken is coming home to roost one day on that one. We just need to see what that looks like eventually for Man City. Eventually, a verdict to be delivered. We'll see what happens when it comes. And Jackson says, Jaribo, I feel his move to the EPL was a terrible one. Exactly. He signed for Southampton, who were clearly going to get relegated. Like, it was a shocking move. But we move anyway. Now, Serie A, we had the bottom of the table clash. Gift Urban's Verona, who are bottom of the table. Mind you, Gift Urban has 7 goals, which means he's the joint third goal scorer in Serie A. Apart from Lautaro Martinez, nobody else has more than 8 goals or 7 goals in the league. So literally, if Gift Urban can even get to 9 goals, he'll be the second top scorer in the whole of Serie A. So that tells me even if Verona get relegated, he's not going to be there because he's clearly doing enough work for such a useless club, at least in terms of their performances, which shows that he can do it better for the big boys. But I think Gift Urban, since he left Ghent, he's been on the move so much, whether it's Lyon, whether it is they just send him on loan up and down. Where has Gift Urban not gone? Hoffenheim, they'll be chasing him away from places. So ideally, he needs some stability. So I'm hoping Verona can play out the back. But it's not likely because when you're Verona and you play against Pisa, who are 19th on Friday at home, and then you draw 0-0, you're clearly not ready to get out of the relegation zone. But I did know, I watched Gift Urban's highlights and he played well. He even had a free kick hit the bar and he had a goal disallowed initially, but I think VAR, it was one of those clear offsides. So at least Urban was still doing his best to try to win the match. But it's just unfortunate that his team, they're just letting him down. Next up, though, they get to play Parma away. Remember Carlos Cuesta, former Arsenal coach under Arteta, the young guy. He's now the head coach of Parma. So let's see if Urban can have better luck away against Parma on Sunday at 3 p.m. Speaking of Pisa in that game that was 0-0, another player who's lost his place in the starting lineup is Ebenezer Kisomiro. After going to AFCON, he has not started for Pisa since he's come back. Also, I noticed that Pisa signed a Chile international midfielder, and he has been starting in Ebenezer Kisomiro's place since he was signed in January. So he's starting alongside a guy called Abeshna, who plays for Switzerland. So it looks like it's just bad timing for Kisomiro, but I know what my eyes saw in the first 20 games when he played. And it's left to Pisa's manager to find the best way to platform his players. So I hope we'll see Kisomiro playing games soon. Rafael Durosimi, on the other hand, started the first half of this game. He didn't play too well, which is why I was taken off after halftime. But Pisa have to go again, even though their next game is at home against AC Milan, who are challenging Inter for the title. So it's not going to be easy for these teams. It's clear one of these two teams get relegated, if not both. But the problem is Fiorentina and Lecce, all 4 teams have decided to be useless, except Lecce, who beat Udinese this weekend. So there's a world where we may see the relegation teams remain exactly as they are. So let's see. As for Maduka Okoye, I already spoke about him, the standout players. He made 3 saves as Udinese kept a clean sheet last week Monday for Udinese against Roma. And then unfortunately, show you how mid-table teams are so annoying. He then made 3 saves as they lost away to Lecce on Sunday. Like, how can you beat Roma and then lose to Lecce? It's like, come on, guys. Like, some decorum here, man. It's like you go and beat Chelsea, then you lose Nottingham Forest next week. Like, what are we doing here? And then finally, we saw Dele Bashiru come on to play the entire second half for Lazio last night as they drew 2-2 against Juventus. It's a bit of a sad one for Visayo, man. When he came on, Lazio were 2-0 up, and Juventus pulled it back to 2-2. Visayo played all right, but he's not yet goal. I don't even think he has a goal yet this season. So all the times I'm glazing Visayo, must look like I'm just talking rubbish. But I'm telling you, there's a jugador in there. You guys saw the Uganda game. He just needs the right coach believing in him, and it's clearly not going to be Mauricio Sarri right now. But at least they got a 2-2 draw. They remain 8th in the league as they try to still push for a Europe spot. So let's see how that goes. They will be in action in the Coppa Italia. I believe this is the semi-final or the quarterfinal away against Bologna on Wednesday. So I'd expect Visayo start this game or at least play some more minutes than 45. And then they play Atalanta at home on Saturday who I know are just above them in 7th, I believe. So that's going to be a very, very good clash. 6 p.m. Nigeria time. I forgot to mention Maduka's playing next. They play Sassuolo at home, so they'll be looking to get back to winning ways. In La Liga, I already spoke about Ademola Lookman's exploits as the standout player of the week. We know how he did in his excellent debut on Thursday night in the Copa del Rey quarterfinal. Away at Real Betis, 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 pre-assist. He doubled the match. Unfortunately, Atletico Madrid in true Jekyll and Hyde style then lost to this same Real Betis at the Wanda Metropolitano yesterday. Like Atletico, what the hell? Yes, as I said, Lookman had a goal disallowed. There was another goal disallowed. Lookman had a few opportunities that just went wide. He played relatively well, but Atletico were just unlucky. But at the end of the day, they lost the game. So their title chances are over. But they've still got the Copa del Rey as well as the Champions League to face. In fact, the good news is this Thursday, we go straight in the Copa del Rey semifinals. So the first leg is Atletico Madrid playing Barcelona at the Wanda Metropolitano at home. And he will definitely start that game, and I'm very excited. These are the kind of fixtures why we're so excited Lookman signed for Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid versus Barcelona. The whole world will now be watching Yamal versus Lookman. Whether Galatasaray and Fenerbahce, yes, the whole of Turkey will watch it, and they will put 100 policemen all over. I remember watching one Galatasaray Fenerbahce game when I went to a wedding in Turkey, and every security guy that I walked past was watching the game rather than doing their job. We know how important it is to the Turkish league, but you cannot compare Atletico Madrid play Barcelona versus Galatasaray Fenerbahce. So we're very excited for this game, and let's see how Lookman does against the Blaugrana on Thursday. And then they'll play Rayo Vallecano away on Sunday. So a good opportunity to get back to anyways, although Rayo Vallecano are doing pretty well in La Liga this season. Adams, on the other hand, played 74 minutes and started for Sevilla, but yet again, very mid-table performance by Sevilla. They drew 1-1 against Girona on Sunday. Chidera Ejike also played the entire second half in this game, which was good to see. But they need to win games, man. Like Sevilla, fix up, man. What's going on? You know? So let's see what happens. And we need to figure that one out again. And next up for them, they play the Deportivo Alaves at home on Saturday. Omar Sadiq, on the other hand, played for Valencia and their 2-0 loss to Real Madrid at the Mestalla on Sunday. He only came off the bench to play 8 minutes, so he didn't really have any much time to make an impact. But we all knew from the preview show that Real Madrid were going to wax them anyway, so no surprises there. Next up for them, they play Levante on Sunday. In the Bundesliga, we saw Felix Agu make his return from injury. He came on for 29 minutes as Werder Bremen lost 2-1 to Freiburg on Saturday. So congratulations, Felix Agu, for recovering from his injury. And let's see how well he can have or let's see how good of a season he could have between now and the end of the season, as he works his way back to full fitness. It doesn't get any easier for Werder Bremen. They play Bayern Munich at home on Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Now, Hamburger up to 11th in the Bundesliga, which is fantastic news for the Bundesliga, historic giants. Philipp Otele made his debut on Saturday. I already mentioned his Standout Performers. Played 68 minutes and got an assist on his debut, assisting the first goal, which, yes, the striker did a lot of the work, but was still very, very good to see. Jordan Torreira, on the other hand, played the entire second half after coming on at halftime as they kept a clean sheet in that 2-0 win over fellow promoted side Heidenheim on Saturday. Next up for them, though, they play Union Berlin at home on Saturday. And then as for Kevin Akpoguma, it did not go well for him, man. Kevin Akpoguma finally started the game for Hoffenheim after being on the bench for so long. And after 17 minutes, he got a red card. And they were playing Bayern Munich, which meant Bayern Munich just put them to the sword and pasted them 5-1. Like, I hate Hoffenheim are third in the league, by the way. It's not like they've been doing badly, but when you play with 10 men against Bayern, they're going to put you to the sword. And that's exactly what they did. So he's going to miss the next game, and we'll see him back when he returns from suspension. In League One, we saw Moses Simon play 63 minutes. I told you, this is another man that likes to be in all these small clubs and be the king. Paris FC drew against Auxerre. They remain 14th in an 18-team league, so they need to be careful about relegation. We know they're just recently promoted, but they need to start scoring goals from somewhere. I'm telling you that. And it doesn't get any easier because they're going to play second-place Lens at home on Saturday, 9:05 p.m. Chidozie Awaziem for Nantes, he's remained another casualty of going to AFCON. He remains a bench warmer at the moment. He was on a new sub as Nantes lost 1-0 to Lyon on Saturday. Let's see if he can find any favor with the coach when they play Monaco away at the Principality on Friday. And then Tochukwu Nadi was not yet in the squad for Marseille, even though we know he just signed for the French Giants last week. So let's see. And they got thrashed 5-0 by PSG. I forgot to add in Le Classique. Go and check out Ousmane Dembele's second goal, man. Wow, 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 wow. They beat the shit out of them, it must be said. So let's see what happens when they play Strasbourg at home on Saturday. And let's see if Tochukwu is at least named in the squad and if he's able to make his debut for Marseille. So that's it in terms of the top 5 leagues. In the Portuguese league, we will see Porto play Sporting Lisbon tonight. That game should have kicked off. We know that Murphy is on the bench and Sanusi is not in the squad at all. At the moment, 40 minutes gone and it is currently 0-0. Very cagey game. Porto have had only 2 shots and Sporting Lisbon have had 1. No single shot on target so far in the game. So that's how it's been in the Portuguese league. Isaac James, on the other hand, came off the bench in 88th minutes for Alverca in their 2-1 loss to Benfica on Sunday. So minimal minutes, but we wish him all the best. And hopefully he can regain his starting spot. Also, shout out to Taiwo for mentioning the youngster in Famalicão, Omar Abubakar. He scored today. Interesting. I'm sure Emeka is watching. So Emeka, let's add him to our list. We'll start looking at him going forward just to see how he performs. I know we also had a Nigerian player come. I know there's also a Nigerian player just signed for Victoria Guimaraes. But remember, we don't want to talk about every single player unless you guys want to be doing 3-hour podcasts every time. So we still have to pick and choose. We know there's certain players we don't necessarily call out. Even when we go through the Turkish league and the Belgian leagues and some of these leagues, we just have to be concise based on the amount of information that we're giving away. But if he scored a goal and he's an attacker, it will be good to see how he's performing and see what he could do. So shout out to you for that comment. Taiwo also said, if we're being honest, our players aren't really doing well in their clubs. I think that's not the case. When you really walk through the weekly performances, we have quite a lot of players playing and starting. You know, yes, some are having to be on the bench for now, but I don't think that's the case at all, to be honest. Emeka, please follow Emeka. Emeka is our editor in charge that does all the work. Please like the video. I can tell there's 34 of you still here. Please like the video. Like Emeka said, yes, Anthony was coming back to double team. Exactly. Da Vinci's comment says, I don't think Lookman gets enough credit for his one-on-one dribbling ability. Betis put 2 men on the guy. He goes past one, another one marks him. Even Anthony came back to mark him. I agree. I think us who watch Lookman, we know how great his dribbling ability is and how good he is one-on-one. He's also much faster than people give him credit for, you know, and I think he still has some levels he can even get his game higher to. But this is a cultured player by all accounts. So let's see how that continues. Just to wrap up the remaining player review leagues in Belgium, we saw Rafael Onyedika play 90 minutes for Club Brugge as they beat Standard Liège 3-0 on Sunday. So they're now back to 3rd place in the league. Yes, we know they have Champions League commitments coming soon, so that'll be their bigger fish to fry. But they play fellow Bruges team Cercle Bruges away on Sunday, 1:30 p.m. So let's see how they get on in that game. I already spoke about Irasour scoring for Genk in their 2-0 win over Anderlecht. The problem with Genk is they're having a disastrous season. They are literally 8th in the Belgian league. They've had a shambolic season. It's like losing Arokodare was a big, big miss, or a much bigger miss than they expected. But they begin to claw their way back slightly. And we know the Belgian league then breaks up in like March into this whole championship round. The top 6 teams play each other, the middle 6 play each other, and the bottom 6 play each other, and all of that. So we'll see what happens. But next up for them, they play KV Mechelen. Turkish league, we already spoke about Victor Osimhen's goal in their 3-0 win over Rizespor on Sunday. Fantastic finish from him. Next up for them, they play Eyüpspor at home on Friday. While Lookman is playing Barcelona on Thursday, see Osimhen is going to play on Friday. Eyüpspor, but hey, go and back those goals, our star man. You know, go do what you got to do, my boy. I will see where you get on. Onuachu as well, we already spoke about him scoring a brace as Trabzonspor beat Samsunspor 3-0. The good news is Chibike Nwaiwo also played all 90 minutes. Center back that I'm very excited about, and I hope he's actually caught up for the next round of Super Eagles games. And we saw Trabzonspor club legend Anthony Nwakeme come on in stoppage time in that game. Next up for them, though, Trabzonspor is going to be 3rd versus 2nd. Trabzonspor get to play Fenerbahce at home on Saturday, 6 p.m., and that will be a massive, big game. So looking forward to that. Another central midfielder I think all Nigerians should have on their radar, Anthony Dennis. He plays for Gotsepe, cultured central midfielder, can be good attacking-wise, but very good in all the defensive aspects of the ball, and a good box-to-box player. His Gotsepe team are currently 4th in the Turkish league. He starts and plays every single match. He played 90 minutes yet again, but they drew 0-0 against Konyaspor yesterday. Next match, they'll play Trabzonspor at home on Sunday. So this is the kind of player, him, Chibike Waiwu, I want them to be in the league for max a year and then go to a top 5 league by God's grace. That would be ideal and perfect. And then Super Eagles captain Wilfred Ndidi played 90 minutes for Besiktas in their 2-2 draw against Alanyaspor on Sunday. Besiktas right now are the club stinking it up out of the Istanbul Giants. For Besiktas to be 5th in the league is an absolute disgrace. It makes no sense. But that's the situation we have on our hands. And we know they sold Tammy Abraham literally a few weeks ago. So I don't think it's going to get better for them anytime soon. But indeed, we wish you well, especially with the tragic news of your father losing his life a few weeks ago. And look, you're playing well for Nigeria, so long may the good news continue. They get to play Başakşehir away on Sunday. Başakşehir are not one of the better teams in the league. So at least they should be looking to get back to winning ways. In the Czech League, as Tyrell mentioned as well, we saw David Moses and Igor Ugbo were both not in the squad for Slavia Prague. But we saw Samuel Isife make his debut for Slavia Prague, playing the final 29 minutes, but he got a yellow card as Slavia Prague beat Mlada Boleslav 4-0. Also, we saw Nigerian winger Suleiman score his first goal for Slavia Prague. He came off the bench and scored a fantastic goal to make it 4-0. He was played in on goal and made a smart finish with his left foot straight into the bottom corner to make it 4-0 for the Czech Giants, who remain top of the league. Next up for them, though, they play Karvina away on Saturday as they look to consolidate first place in the league. As for Victoria Pilsen, they are somehow 4th in the league, so it's not going well. They're even below Slavia Prague. The good news is Salim Fago started and made his first start for the club. They did beat Slovan Liberec 3-1. Salim Fago played 63 minutes, but did not score on his debut. But the fact he's already started is a good sign, and we know he's going to play Europa League games over the next few weeks. So that's good for his development and his growth. In the league, he'll play Sigma Olomoik on Saturday, and let's see if he could get firing in terms of the league on Saturday. And then in Greece, we saw Bruno Yemechi play 90 minutes on Wednesday as Olympiacos beat Atreris Tripolis 3-0. And then he was not in the squad on Sunday as Olympiacos somehow lost 1-0 to Syrodezos Panathinaikos yesterday. Dezas is still out injured. That's why there's no update on Dezas. But we'll see Olympiacos play Levadiakos away on Saturday. And now that Nobali has moved, we don't give any updates on this SPFL again. So the last updates from Scotland, where Kelechi Iheanacho was not in the squad this weekend as Celtic beat Dundee FC 2-1 in the Scottish Cup. They needed a last-minute goal from Junior Adamu. He's a Nigerian descent. He was actually born in Nigeria, but he plays for Austria. Those kind of players, you have to question their decision-making. Although saying that Austria are about to play in the World Cup for the first time since 1998. So, but still, you're never going to win anything with Austria. But at least I'm sure facilities-wise, he can live with that. But yeah, we'll see if Kelechi Iheanacho is back in the squad on Wednesday when Celtic play Livingston, and they play Kilmarnock away on Sunday. So that is it for the weekend player review. Thanks for sticking with me. I know that's a long one, but I think it's very important that we give the full updates and everybody knows exactly how our players are performing. Last comment on weekend's player review from Da Vinci. Da Vinci goes, as much as I appreciate Simon, he has been playing for the Burnleys of France for years. Exactly. How did he amass almost 100 caps? Let me be honest. Much love to him. We give him the love too. But the truth of the matter is, one of the things that is going to let Super Eagles progress moving forward is now that we have the Lookmans and Osimhen playing for the best clubs, or at least doing well in, at least challenging for titles. You know, even, Simon, before he moved to Nantes, he played for Levante. Like, maybe he just doesn't like being at a big club, but you have to question his ambition. After he served Nantes for how many years and even became a French citizen, I was convinced he will move to at least a club that could play in the Europa League. But yet again, he signed for a team that just got promoted. Yes, you could stay in Paris. It's the big city. They probably increased your wages. I get that. But when you look at the fact that this guy almost has 100 caps, it leaves a bit of a weird taste in your mouth that you have to question his ambition. I don't even think Moses Simon has played, at least maybe prior to Levante, but he's not played in Europe before. So it's an interesting one, and it leaves an interesting taste in my mouth too, if I'm being brutally honest. But that's it in terms of the weekend reviews. Just before we open up the comments for everybody to come in and chat, I just want to give you an update on the ones to watch for this week ahead of the weekend preview show on Thursday night. So I'm just going to be giving you the updates for games you need to watch on Wednesday and Thursday. So on Wednesday, we'll see the Premier League back in action. As I said already, we'll see our Nigerian boys Iwobi, Chukwueze, and Bassi's Fulham go to the Etihad to play Man City 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday. So make sure you watch that game. Also, we'll see the Battle of Nigerians as Nottingham Forest, Ola Aino, and Taiwa Awoni host Wolverhampton's Tolu Arokodare 8:30 p.m. as well. Kazan's Uches Crystal Palace will also be in action at home against Burnley 8:30 p.m. And then we'll see Sarah Delibashu's Lazio play Bologna in the Coppa Italia quarterfinal or semi-final at 9 p.m. on Wednesday. On Thursday, make sure you're tuned in. I think this one will be exciting. Yes, we know Arsenal are playing at 8 p.m. in the UK, so 9 p.m. Nigeria time, which is the same time that Ademola Lookman's Atletico Madrid is playing Barcelona. But I think that'll be a tasty game, and I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on that one. And I hope Lookman can have a smashing performance against the current champions of Spain. Just to finalize, I know I'll go through it again on Thursday, but on Friday, Osimhen's Galatasaray will play at Sport 6 p.m. We'll see the Pizza Boys, Osimhen and Akisomero, host AC Milan 8:45 p.m. on Friday. Saturday, we'll see Felix Agu's Werder Bremen host Bayern Munich 3:30 p.m. We'll see the Hamburg boys, Philipp Otele and Jordan Torunariga, host Union Berlin at the same time, 2:30 p.m. In the FA Cup, we'll see Jaribo's Leicester host his former side, Southampton. So good opportunity for Aribo to show his old team what they're missing. 4 p.m. in the FA Cup. Hopefully, we'll see Tochugu Nadi make his debut for Marseille at 5 p.m. when they host Strasbourg at the Velodrome. We'll see the Trabzonspor boys, Onuachu, Waiwu, and Nwakeme play against Fenerbahce as third place second at 6 p.m. We'll see the Sevilla boys try to get back to winning ways at 6:30 p.m. Nigeria time as Akko Adams Chira GK play Deportivo Alaves. And then we'll see Moses Simon, who we were just talking about. His Paris FC side hosts Lens, who are currently high flying and second in Ligue 1 on Saturday night, 9:05 p.m. On Sunday, to round up, Maduka Okoye's Udinese will be playing Sassuolo at home, so that should be a good game, 12:30 p.m. Nigeria time. Brightside Samuels, Birmingham City gets a chance to play Leeds United in the FA Cup at 1 p.m. Nigeria time. We'll also see Tolu Arokodare play in the FA Cup away against Grimsby. A good chance for him to start pad 2:30 p.m. in the FA Cup. We'll see the Fulham boys go away to play Stoke City 3 p.m. FA Cup. It's so crazy how Stoke have been out of the Prem for so long, but we still talk about on a Tuesday night, on a cold wet night in Stoke. That's what you call heritage, man. It must be said. And then we'll see Gift Urban's Verona play against Parma 3 p.m. on Sunday. We're hoping, me personally, I want to see Gift Urban get a goal or two and become the second top goal scorer in Serie A. And then we'll see what can happen in terms of the match friendlies for the Super Eagles. Or maybe we'll have to play Jamaica or New Caledonia. We shall see. Time shall tell. And then Ademola Lookman will make his second La Liga appearance 4:15 p.m. on Sunday as Atletico play Rayo Vallecano 4:15 p.m. And then finally, Omar Sadiq's Valencia will play Levante away 6:30 p.m. on Sunday. So that's it in terms of the ones to watch. And I have rounded up the show. I want to say a big thank you to everybody for letting me get through the content. Let me know your views. Let me know your thoughts. Both for everybody who's live right now. I hope you've liked the video. I hope you've subscribed. I hope you've told your friends who also enjoy this content about the channel. And those of you who are going to watch the videos post the live show, please make sure you like the video as well. And we're going to do our best to keep all the comments so that people could also see the interactions when they're watching and to follow along with this wonderful community that we are building and have built so far. Like I said, we're on the road to 20K subscribers. I want to say a big thank you to all the OGs, all the new community members, all the old community members, our subscribers, our actual members. There's space for everybody in this world. We all love our football, and we come to talk about football together every week. In fact, twice a week now, as I said. And of course, we have a members-only live stream that will be starting on Wednesday. So remember, before I end the podcast, I want to give ourselves time to have some of the wonderful members of this community give their thoughts. So I have pasted the link already for your view. I will repaste it again. And we will see if anybody wants to come online and give their thoughts on the weekend review or any of the topics which we've discussed. Or you just want to talk about anything football related so far, the games coming up. That would be amazing. As we wait to see if anybody comes in, I will just click on the link and you'll be able to be added to the stage. Elias asks, any idea who the Super Eagles will play in March? It's a bit stop-start. I know Elias is our Somali brother, so shout out to you. Elias, it depends on this whole petition Nigeria have submitted to FIFA. about Congo's ineligibility of fielding certain players in the World Cup playoffs that took place in November last year. It looks like we will get a verdict latest by Saturday or Sunday, which is ironically Valentine's Day. So that way you drink your worries away, or celebrate your joy. Either way, you know. So we'll wait to see what happens there. Like I said, to set expectations, I think it's unlikely we will get the petition in a positive way. And do Nigeria, this is our NFF that cannot pay Eric Shelley's salary, do they have money to go and be fighting at the court of arbitration for sports? I'm not so sure. But of course, shamelessly, if we somehow make it and we get to play the winner of Jamaica and New Caledonia in March, we will shamelessly be in Mexico. In fact, I'm even trying to crowdfund and get myself out there to follow the game. So, Elias, long story short, we don't know yet. We'll know next week. I've heard rumors that if it's not successful, we'll pivot to our friendlies. I think we're likely to play 2 African teams. But whatever happens, we'll play some friendly games, or we'll be playing this playoff against Jamaica or New Caledonia. So that is exactly what's happening with the Super Eagles. The Super Falcons, on the other hand, though, later in February, they'll be playing a WAFU tournament. I think Senegal, Ivory Coast, and Ghana are the other 3 teams. So they will play 2 warm-up friendlies ahead of the AFCON starting in March 17th. As I said, right now, I believe it will still be played in Morocco. There's been no official changes. I'm trying to see if I can even get a press pass. So I've signed up for the CAF stuff as we continue to professionalize. Also, as I said, we will have the website live soon. So from next week, Monday, you can also search us on Google. It's just a way to make sure that we're on all the relevant social media and good touch points that we need to be on. My day job, I've worked in digital advertising for 10 years, paid search, all of that, digital marketing, e-commerce. So it's very important for you to be reachable online as well. Not everybody searches on YouTube only, or TikTok only, or Twitter only, or Facebook only. It's important to get people on channels, you know. So please patronize our website. It's going to have a lot of content there. It's going to have all the episodes in there. Also, I've created a link there for you to drop your hot takes whenever Nigeria play and to select your Starboy of the week. So we're going to be introducing a series where I will do my normal Starboy of the week, but I would also highlight the selected Starboy of the week by the community. So looking forward to that. And like I said, we're just trying to level up and continue to bring you guys this content. Shout out to Sheung. I can see Sheung in the stage. So we've got our first guest. Just before I get Sheung on to give his thoughts for 5 minutes, let me just go through Charles' comments. Charles said, and you wonder why he plays rubbish. I think you mean Osimhen. Yeah, that makes sense. His ambition's a bit interesting. I was really annoyed about how he plays penalty. Like, he didn't care. Who does that? No wonder he has not been starting for Nigeria. Is that Osimhen, Charles? Didn't he score a penalty in the game against Egypt? I don't think he played a penalty against Morocco. But he also said, Gia, what as a man called Amadou said, considering the stadium. I saw what he said, oh, story man. He said, oh, in a year's time, or a year and a half, Nigeria will have as better pitches than the one in Morocco. See what I tell you, these guys, they don't think Nigerians, they don't respect Nigerians. That's the best way I can say it. Amadou has been in NFF for long over 10 years ago. He's even in that put Gusa out there, whether I admit it or not. He did not bring good stadium in the 12, 13, 14 years he's been involved with NFF. And now, magically, in a year and a half, he will have stadium. Amadou, story man of the highest order, I'm telling you. Me, everything they say, I take with a pinch of salt. You are owning the coach. We don't have facilities. We have only one approved stadium in the whole of Nigeria, and it's Uyo. Even Uyo, the pitch is decent at best, and that's being nice. So let's just be deceiving ourselves and allow this as a man just be lying on podcasts for PR. But the good news is I think most Nigerians see through their lies anyway. Like, we will see when we believe it. We will see it when every time I hear them mention testing in Balogun Stadium, I'm like, these people are not ambitious. Guys, have you seen the state of those stadiums in Lagos or the stadium in Lagos? Excuse my French. And they've not thought to do anything about it, but now all of a sudden we should expect magic. They are the funniest people ever, I'm telling you. They make me laugh. They make me laugh. Da Vinci said, but Simon can still save his legacy to giving us Benjamin Frederick. Let me not lie, that's a big one. Oh. How often do you see 2 present players playing for a national team? And one of them came to his academy. this thing also makes you realize that sometimes Nigerian players, when they tell you that, when they mention this their age thing, sometimes you laugh. So they are telling me that Moses Simon is 30 years old. And Benjamin Frederick is 20. You are trying to tell me that me, I'm 2 years older than Moses Simon. Look at Moses Simon's face. Look at my face. And I'm the one that will be 33 next week. Anyway, shout out to Moses Simon for what he has helped us with. At least Benjamin Frederick, we can see the evidence of his face and looking young all this time. So shout out to Benjamin Frederick for that. And we take that. I think that's a good disclaimer, Da Vinci. We can forgive him for that one for sure. Jackson, I promise you, I have that conversation with Charles Anazodo queued up too. It's just because it's Amaju Pinnick and the interview is for an hour and a half. I need to prepare my mind to listen to 2 hours of Amaju gaslighting us. Then I need to take the notes and then transcribe it for the pod. So I have it queued somewhere. I'm going to watch everything Amaju has said and I'll do a video for it eventually on the channel. So look out for that one. LV, remain to us now. I got to tell us Moses Simon is older than Benjamin Frederick by 10 years. And it's him that opened the academy. Where's my boy Samu? Samu, get back. Sorry. I know I'm always talking too much. Guys, we can't have people every time asked to come on the chat and then I paste the link and then no one's coming to give their opinion. I understand you may be camera shy, it's not as easy as it looks, but 1 minute take, it could be about anything. Standout player of the week, Starboy of the week, Rivers United, Amaju, Premier League wants to watch, Premier League games coming up midweek, whatever it is, come give me your thoughts. But while I wait for him to get back, I will speak. Ilya said, quick trivia, bro. Did you know there are Nigerians playing for Seychelles and the Djibouti national team? I'm not surprised, my bro. Bro, 1 in every 6 black human beings in the world is from Nigeria. That's how populated our country is. There are so many of us that it doesn't surprise me. If it's Benin, and we have to also be honest about Nigeria and our hypocrisy. Any player that's not good enough to play for Nigeria, we don't even care. We're not looking at his radar. You can look at the Ireland national team. There are so many players playing for Ireland that they're not good enough to play for Nigeria. We don't even send them. It's the Sakas of the world that we're always like, what's going on? So I'm not surprised. In fact, I'm sure there'll be many more. In fact, Elias, maybe that's something we could work on together. I'd love to do like a report on like how many African teams have Nigerian players playing for them. And I'm sure it'll be quite an interesting one to see. So let's see on there. Okay, I got my 2 guests for the day. Shout out Jackson, one of our members. We appreciate you, brother. Sharon's been waiting for a bit, so I apologize to my brother. We're going to let you get on. We're 1 hour 47 minutes in, so this is fantastic. So each of you 2 could speak for 2, 3, 4 minutes, however long you want. So, Sharon, I hope I haven't got it right.
What's up, my brother?
What's up, my brother? How are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks for joining. How are you finding the show? Hope you've enjoyed it. And good to hear from you, my brother.
I'm enjoying this is my first time of joining your show live.
Wow.
I used to watch you on IoT program.
Yeah, I was gonna say, show. I recognize you from Eagles Tracker or Gaunt Football with Smith Lai. Yeah. Shout out to everybody. Shout out Eagles Tracker. Shout out Gaunt Football. Shout out everybody for all the amazing work. There's enough space for everybody, and we all need to move. We need to push Nigeria as much as we can.
Number one, say that Mustafa you Abi. Yeah, but now you live in UK now. Mustafa based in Nigeria, so Mustafa the moment about to in Nigeria, so you are based in UK, so you look better than Mustafa. That's just
But I've looked like this since I was young now. Even Simon has been in Europe for 10 years too now. Him too, the Europe should be showing on his face now.
Okay, that's by the way. Let's talk about the Azama first.
Please,
I was interview that Ademola did on last. I watched it last interview and I was laughing when when he was talking about Podium. 40 them in 1 year, 1 and a half years. Who does that? Where's the money?
Don't mind him.
The one that building the one that building Asaba. What happened with that one?
Thank you.
So
The
that's
other
the
one,
open. I don't
KB.
have issue with them.
Thank you. The other one,
Eh,
for what happened to that
eh,
one?
I don't know about that too. And about the FPFL team, I think our league is dead. I'm sorry to say that it's dead. This- and I wonder why Nigerian legend to coach Nigerian Spy. The way Finidi coach that Rivers United squad. No, when this match, they play 5 and lost 4, draw 1. That
It's
is
so
terrible
bad,
for
honestly.
Nigerian club side.
I'm
When
telling
I was
you.
going, I used to watch Nigerian football club side. I used to watch Nigerian league playing back. Even
Thank
playing
you.
big team. But nowadays, ain't that play like we will be that time. Will be with the free for play for. But nowadays, Nigerian league just full of old players, full of corruption and every other thing. So I wish them best of luck. I just want to just keep shell on the job. Let's
I
see what's up.
agree.
That's my point. Just keep shell.
Oh, I think we lost Shehu there. Oh, that's a shame. He was about to cook something that all of us can agree on. I'll wait.
Ryan Nambak.
Okay, Shehu, you're back. Yeah, you're just talking about Eric Shell and the fact that we must keep him as coach, which
I
I
get
agree.
you must because that man have done good job for Nigeria.
I'm
Based
telling
on
you.
1 year, it's not this time play. This I play football. I was there at Winacom. Let's not win a play good football in Winacom. You're the best in Winacom. You're the best tap. You're the best tap for scoring good lots of goals in Winacom. And the truth, that man's gonna keep. But keeping him player like Itawaneri, other players they can come and play for Nigeria because
I agree.
Nigeria coaches they cover the team. So that man can come to play for Nigeria. They get Nigeria coach to do job. Na wala. And talking about the Nigeria Congo issue, I put that one in. Let's say I don't really believe in that story. I don't really take it true, but if it's true that Congo do something wrong, that you pay for it. I'm a Chelsea fan. That's one, and I don't
Fair.
want I don't want I don't want to win the league.
It's
I don't
okay.
want to win. I don't want to win league
It's okay.
because you guys will not let us rest. You know 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 let us talk. But we are the best team. Right, now, the best team in the world. That's not the best. Good defense, good everything. As for Liverpool, before I go, I think and Klopp just started his job now. Last season was still working under club shadow. Now time for his job. If they didn't sack him, I think Alonso is available for them. They will sack him in summer. I think Alonso. That's it. Thank you, my brother. Stay blessed.
Thank you so
Bye for
much,
now.
Cheryl. Thank you so much for joining the live stream and for giving us your take. Like, I appreciate it so much. God bless you. Thanks for always supporting. Thanks for watching.
One love.
Good luck to
One
Chelsea too. Even though I know it's football banter, I'm always still happy with everybody's team. I want everybody to be happy, Sha. Not at Arsenal's expense, but
just
be happy.
remember one
Much love.
one love, one love, and one love.
Appreciate you, bro. Okay, so just before we wrap up, I'm gonna get Jackson on. Jackson, obviously a fellow Gooner. I'll give you the floor, my bro. Just give us your thoughts, and then we'll round up the show for today. Shout out to everybody for sticking with us. I know we have 24 of you left, but don't worry, we're almost done. It's been a great effort. Jackson, my man, good to see you. Hope you had a great week.
Hi, Olu.
I'm
Yes,
very
yes,
well,
we had
thank
a
you. I
great
can
week.
hear you
Well
okay.
done. Well, yeah, so I want to talk about Amaju and a lot about Super Eagles, and
Please,
I think it's beginning to unravel itself. So before you let me do spoiler for you for the Charles Anazodo's podcast.
please,
So
I would love
Amaju
that.
gave
Please,
a long code, gave a long speech of how he started his money making career because I'm from Delta.
remember you saying last
He
week from the
was
same village now,
his sister
Abby?
was yes, yes, I'm from the same village. So his elder sister is the wife to Governor Odoaga. So he
Although
had
I knew
there was backing financially. Yeah, so there was money to be spent around. So I think basically he was trying to tell Charles that NFF money, he didn't really need it. It was the Worry Again that you see. If you remember, if you know Worry Again comedy show, is the one of the pioneer of the concert. I have met him one on one. He likes
Okay.
homegrown things, but when it comes to um, how would I put it? I think the footballing thing, he got some right, he didn't get some right. Like he said something about him picking a player. One of them was Ahmed Musa. The World Cup he scored against Argentina. I said he intentionally made sure that Ahmed Musa had to go for that World
Is
Cup
that's the one
because
he told us
he was
that
doing
he
well.
told us that somebody he
Yeah,
told the coach that this is my slot. He said it shamelessly with his
my
mouth.
God. Yeah,
Crazy guy.
yes. So this is my hero. So another player too that Amaju pushed was this guy, Etebo. If you remember Etebo, Caro
Ah,
Etebo.
very well.
Yeah, Caro is my in-law. Actually, let me just put it that way. It's my wife's cousin.
Okay.
But because he played for Warri Wolves, so Amaju still had to still push. You know, when you are pushing people you would benefit from. If Caro will tell you Amaju is owing him millions of naira.
Wow.
So he's a very funny, he's a funny man and a funny man. Let's
Oh, that
let's
one is
use that.
clear.
Let's use that one. Yeah, so he said a lot of things about the new stadium coming up in Warri that nobody has said anything. I mean, it in his mouth for the first time. Nobody has said that they have been. He said after that, we'll get on that ultramodern stadium in Teslim Balogun, meaning we'll start having grass, not AstroTurf, because FIFA standard, you can't use AstroTurf to play international tournaments. Nobody would have. So hopefully, I'm trying to get that. Then he was asked a question about the Congo thing. He dodged the question because I think he's saying something that he wouldn't like to be the only Nigerian in the World Cup. Meaning there might be some good news, there might be something about it, but because he's in the same committee, I think he didn't want to spill the bean. But
Yeah,
money matter, Amadu never answered the direct question. He will always tell you
of
that they were not wasn't giving great support all the time. He said it countless times. So I
story
think
man.
he needs to answer
Just
more of
own
that
the
question.
story.
Yeah, he needs to answer more of that question, more and more, because Nigeria, nobody is, people are not accountable for anything they do, from
Exactly.
government to sport minister to finance. Nobody is accountable. I think
And you
it's
can
time we
tell
start calling them out.
Amaju is relying on people's lack of knowledge. Like, oh, I'll just go and say, oh, do you know we're audited by PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC? It's like, duh.
God
Show us
bless
the
you.
findings of the
God bless
audits.
you for that.
Show us the findings of the audits.
It, it,
We're not stupid.
it's refusing to call people. People are calling him out, but he doesn't want to call anybody out. And I'm wondering why in a world where we have freedom of speech, call people out.
I
But you
know.
don't call people out. You say you don't want to call names. You don't want to call names, and he keeps doing that. We're not kids anymore.
And you
We're
know
not
something I
in the
really don't like
98
about him,
era.
Jackson? We all know he's the one that put Gusau there. And then you watch
Yes,
a video of him saying, something like, oh, I'm sure if I was the NFF president, Nigeria would have made the World Cup. Like, how can you say
where were
something so
you?
stupid? Like, you installed the man from Zamfara that had no footballing credentials in the first place for your own personal gain. We see you around the footballers all the time. Even when I was in Marrakesh, I saw him in the Super Eagles Hotel doing big man just in his own corner.
He said
So
he was going to talk to the boys
I
on
just
how
hate
to play
the
Morocco.
hypocrisy.
I think he's a technical person.
In fact, one of the things I like about Gusau that Gusau does not do that Amaju used to do. Amaju will carry himself and go and be giving speeches in the dressing room when the players don't respect him, nor did they ask. So one thing I even respect about this Gusau is
Yeah, he did that against this Nations Cup. He did that too.
you see, but Gusau knows how to stay away. And that's why they love Eric Shaw, because Eric Shaw is a man with principles and knows when to talk and when to stay away. I promise you, I'll be very surprised that these players respect when Amaju comes to tell them stories. Somebody's owing you money that is coming to tell you about how we're trying to make progress. But him, he has furthered himself. He's part of the FIFA men's committee. In fact, I was so glad when I heard he lost his vice president's bid, re-election bid last year. So good. Let him manage the men's committee that he's using. But I cannot stand people that don't stand for anything. And the way
Let
he's
me
winning,
even let's even go back. Yeah,
I just don't like it. So, I mean, I'm not.
let's go back to no. So there's one thing we are forgetting. Remember when we didn't qualify when Ghana beat us to the nations to the World
Of
Cup?
course now.
Remember the match in Abuja?
Now. That party scored. Yeah. That went through Zo's
Yeah,
hand.
and during his did he build any proper? He didn't build any proper pitch stadium. He didn't build a new stadium,
He didn't do
and he keeps
nothing.
saying they are building new stadiums. He always yeah. So one funny part of his interview you hear is uh, price rate, what's it called? Naira to dollar exchange rate. Exchange rate has changed. Exchange rate. So they gave you money 5 years ago to build a project. You are waiting till now. And what do you think? They keep giving excuses. Exchange rate, exchange rate. That time the money was worth this. Now the money is worth this. Say the money has lost value. They keep using exchange rate as
Should explain what he did with the money when he entered in 2014, when the exchange rate was half what it is now. He should explain what he did.
yeah.
You things were stupid. He was NFL president when we missed back-to-back AFCON qualification. 2017 and 2015. Was he already there? So I find him so, in fact, the disingenuity is too much for me. I won't lie to you, man. Because now we're trying to build and they've sold us dreams about stadium being built in a year and a half. So we have to just wait and see.
Yes. Moving on. I would like to talk about. I think you're hype on, not really hype. The Ademola Lookman thing is one big news because they might not be topping the table. They might be not be topping the table like Galatasaray and the Turkish league, but side by side, those teams are not bad. Atletico has given Nigerian footballers a different ball game entirely, and I think we're proud that Ademola has moved. Hopefully, others will take suit and not move to dead rubber leagues that will still struggle to want to. Yeah, not. And we don't want to see our players go to Cyprus that they will have to play triple qualifiers before you qualify for Champions League. You win your league, you play one qualifier, keep playing like 6
second
games
round
before you qualify for
qualifier,
the group
third round qualifier, like Slavia Prague.
Yeah, so we don't want to see that for our players. I think, and it boils down to our league because most times, like you said, the academy they just want to play football and they just want to groom players and sell them out straight up. I used to play when I was in uni, and like I gave myself a benchmark. If I get to this age, I don't make it, I'll stop. I used to be a right back, but everybody else wants to get a player and sell you off. Everybody wants to get a player. I used to play in Benin. They either way, one way or another, try to sell you to Bender Insurance or sell you to a Nigerian club side. That's how the system is. There's no trying to hold on to you, see how you grow. No, technically, they don't want to give you. They just want you to switch you out. Yeah.
Can you imagine? I think what's very clear is going forward is one of the topics I have in detail to like really explore, but I need to find a way to speak to the right people and deep dive on like just our league system, both the ones that are playing for the current clubs and then also this whole what we just discussed about the academy system, because Nigeria is out of sync. Academies operate separately from MPFL clubs, and then there's such disjointed natures. We don't even have any way to connect our school system to football, like how America have like different NCAA tournaments and bring people to like, remember, I think when I was growing up, there used to be something like President's Cup or something like that. But we don't have Principal's Cup. Thank you. So, all these kind of things, like we need to even explore and we must look back at our history to go forward. So I think that's something that's definitely key for sure. Okay, so just to round up on something positive, Jackson. Arsenal, how you feeling for Thursday? Are we going to win?
I'm feeling high. I'm feeling good. I think it's put us on our toes, but Ateta has found a way around it. So just keep winning your games and don't worry about the noise they are making. The noisy neighbors, as Man United will call them. So let's just keep playing our thing. And I think the banter is because they know our fans are the so a lot of Arsenal fans are in the millennials, like we. So we don't have these new generation people. So I think because we have waited for that long, people feel when we win the league, we make so much noise. No, we've been winning trophies, we've been winning FA Cups. We did not make noise about it. Even when Ateta came in his first season and won the FA Cup, nobody said anything about it. So I just think the hype behind the noise they are making, they are scared that if we win it, we'll make too much noise about it. Now, the same fourth place that they used to criticize Wenger for, that looked like a trophy to us, is
It's
now a
amazing
big
for
thing to
Man
them.
U,
Now it's not
Abi.
even fifth, not fourth anymore.
It's fifth
So you
now,
know what
sir.
it makes. And you know, I think basically what cost us was us moving to Emirates. That was a terrible move we made. Yeah, money wise, got money to the to their pocket, but trophy for fans, it didn't pay us because we knew how we took things to the slaughterhouse in Ivory.
I
Ivory was
agree.
a slaughterhouse. You come to Ivory, Thierry Henry, we
Now our
finish
small
you.
pitch,
Ivory was a slaughterhouse.
really, you're finished.
Yes. So Dennis, that the Papillo days during against Kano. So I think we will get it, and it will take a while. But once we start winning trophies, I feel it will take a while before we would lose trophies because it
Agree.
happened to Bayern. They didn't win immediately. They moved to Allianz Arena. It took a while, but when they got it right, they got it right. So
And
Thursday is a three.
most importantly, we've resigned every important player. The days of us losing our
Yes,
best talents, those days
it's
are
no
gone.
more anymore.
So,
We're even getting more players for more posts for the same position.
and now that we're getting better, we get to take our pick of the best. In fact,
Yeah.
one thing I would say though, I like your humble nature of saying that we will not make too much noise. Let me not lie, Jackson. If we win this Premier League after 22 years, I'm not sure I agree with you on that one, man.
You will be shocked that you won't make that much noise the way Chelsea did when Mourinho came. You won't make
Uh,
that much noise. I mean, when Mourinho came to Chelsea, Abramovich, you will not make
yeah.
that much noise.
Oh, yeah. That was
But
Chelsea's first time in like 50 years now. But 22
yeah,
years, I
so you
think
won't
not
make
trying to take.
yeah
But what I do
that
agree with
much
you,
noise.
Jackson, if we win one, once we win one, it could open the floodgates. But honestly, I don't want
It
to think
would.
too
It
far ahead.
would.
I just want to win. Just give me one first. Let me just hold it. Let's go to the parade and see it. We go from there.
I see what we can do a double, a Champions League and a Premier League. Me, I really want the Champions League.
Bro, I need my prem first. Then we can worry about the
Okay.
give me my prem. Then we have so many years to go for the Champions League. But hey, if we win both, I'll take it. But I don't want to get too excited. Just win me the Premier League, and then let's start our dancing.
Let's start dancing from there. Yeah.
I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you so much, Jackson. So as I said, guys,
For
remember
always.
Jackson, next week, Wednesday, just a trial, and then we'll figure out what works best for all members going forward. But I appreciate it so much, and thanks so much for always joining. I appreciate your contributions and your ball knowledge as well. So especially all this insider info you have given me now. When I go and watch now, I'll be thinking about it too with Warrior and Amaju, and then we'll see what comes next.
So, I want to ask: is there a way um, we can share infos with you with the show with on like so? Now you have if you go off and I have information, how do we share on YouTube? Do we still just paste in the comment section directly so you get it?
Feel free, but if you also look at the channel, you see my I have the email of nigerianfootballweekly@gmail.com. Anything you send there, I'll always receive it. And if not, just DM me on Instagram on the accounts or even TikTok. Like we're always checking. So any of the sources, please feel free. Or even any post. Trust me, we look at all comments always. So anything that comes, and what I want to do with the member shows is to allow people to also give those forums where they could add their own iterations of thoughts or things that they think could be better for the show. So yeah, please feel free. Just check view channel. You see all the information there. Anyone, just message me, please. Feel free.
What's the name on IG? The same Nigeria Weekly.
Nigeria Football Weekly everywhere except Twitter. Everywhere. It's only different on Twitter because of the character limitation, but everywhere else we're literally good to go.
I'll send you a message on Instagram.
Please do. I'll be waiting for it.
Thank you.
All right, Jackson. Much love. See you on the next one. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful evening. And God bless. Thank you so much for all the support. Okay, so guys, that's it for this episode. Let me get rid of that little sign that says NFW. But I want to say a big thank you to everybody. Shout out to everybody that stayed on the chat. I appreciate you all for your time. Last comment from Elias about Tyreek George. Yes, he is eligible for Nigeria and Ghana. I think he needs to do some more, like Homo Economicus said. Let's see what he does, but he's clearly one for us to track because he's young. And I know he scored on his debut for Everton in the game against Fulham away. So we'll track him, but he needs to do a lot more before we bring him into the fold. But really well done. Thank you, Abasi. I really appreciate the well done. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Everybody, I hope you enjoy the football. If you're a Premier League inclined, enjoy the football starting from tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Obviously, no La Liga, but we have the big Lookman game on Thursday. Obviously, we'll keep our eye out for what's happening in the Super Eagles and what happens with this whole Congo debacle. Super Falcons are also coming. Remember, they've got their games at the end of February. Everybody, I wish you love and light. Remember, we have the same show on Thursday for the weekend preview, 8 p.m. So shout out to all of you. I know it's Valentine's week, so I'm sure you've got, make sure you're feeling the love, whether it's through your club or your personal life. Make sure it all comes through. I want to say a big thank you to everybody, as usual, for supporting the channel. Please like, share, subscribe. If you're still watching this and you've not liked the video, please like the video. Please remember our social media channels. All of that's below for you to look at Nigeria Football Weekly. I literally put it in there so that I can spell it out for people. We're now on the road to 20K, but because of you guys, that's what makes this all worth it. I want to say a big thank you again. I look forward to the game, to the preview on Thursday. That will be a live show as well, 8 p.m. UK time, and we'll go through the Premier League games that have happened. Wait, did I just say 8 p.m. UK time? Arsenal are playing at 8 p.m. UK time. Maybe I'll push it slightly by 2 hours. We'll see. But we'll do a live stream on Thursday yet again. And, of course, watch the Arsenal game. Dissect all the games in the midweek and do the preview of the FA Cup games and all the games happening, all the other leagues for your listening pleasure. As always, I'm Solo. Okay, I'll see you on the next episode. Everybody have a wonderful Monday evening and rest of the week. God bless you all. Take care and night.